blazed. Blazed. Get blazed. Get blazed. Blazed. Get blazed. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another CAW Summit. That is where we talk about, well, a lot of our favorite hobby, creating a wrestler, creating a universe, using WWE2K games to make our own world, our own way. This is another episode. We've already talked to several individuals that run their own shows. But now I got two specific guests here today to talk something a little more specific. We're going to get into Movesets, and we're going to get into a little bit about the new game. It's hard not to talk about the new game that just came out. Oh, the winds of change that we we always work through every year with this video game. For those that aren't unaware, what we do is create and commentate. And I got two of my favorite creators, two of my favorite commentators. They got full energy. They bring it like I try to bring it every time they're live. One I've known for years, one I've known for the past couple years, but they bring their own unique idea and take to this. So, and you guys in the chat are very valuable for this as well. So let's look at who we got. We got our Retro in the building, RWN in the house. Prime Time is here. What's happening, Prime Time? Dubs in the building. Yep, that's right. Call. Triple Beats in the house. He was one of our guests for our first summit. We brought in Riley Wolf, Totes Magoats, and Triple Beat for our first one, where we basically just talked about how they run their federations and got into specifics for each of us. Jesse Jackhammer is here. What's happening? Next Sunday, we're going to be a little bit something different. We're going to play Jeopardy on old wrestling video games. So we're going to bring Odds Cornette back. We're going to bring Triple Beat to help me with the questions, and Riley Wolf. And we're going to quiz them on their knowledge of old and new, all pro wrestling video games. Goddess in the house doing her job. That's right, Goddess. You better get to work. Moderators holding it down. Please like, please share. We've had some 3-hour shows. This one with just me and my boys here. We're just going to talk about, setting up move sets. And I said the last time that it would be shorter, but I had, in Summit 3, I had how many people? 7 people. So this is our 4th summit. I think I just sent out Summit 3 to everybody on the share. It's been one of those days. We got Brandon Ace in the building. Hey, we'll take your advice and your thoughts in the chat as well. Charles Adderley is here. Jaden is here. Sly Cooper. I'm trying to stall because everyone starts to come in about 10 minutes or so. Logan Windsor. If you know me, I'm a chatter. I'll talk. And there's that "we will return" bullshit we've been seeing, the Nightbot post. We'll find out who that is. That's LTD only business, though. Tonight we're talking about the Digital Wrestling Syndicate as a whole. Blade Charge is here. And for those that don't know, 7 years ago when I transferred over here and started doing YouTube, CAW, C-A-W, Create a Wrestler is what it was mainly known as. But I wanted to coin a new phrase. So the Digital Wrestling Syndicate is basically anybody who does the 2K game but transforms the game into what they want it to be. So we are the promoters. We are those dungeon masters, if you will, that guide you along the way. We're going to talk about setting up your character. The second show, we had Odds, Monstar, and Kelly, and we talked about their companies, how they run things, and the general stuff of running an E-Federation. Then we had Mordrin, Tiny, Chance, Cougar, Count, Goddess, and Cassie with me last week. We talked about creating your character, being unique, setting it up a certain way. Now we're going to delve deep into one specific, which is setting a move set, making your character act the way he's supposed to. Do the moves that character should be doing. And as showrunners, we're the ones that have to have our own rules. So we standardize how we want it. When you guys upload your CAWs, sometimes they're one way or another. So us as creators, we got to do a lot of work behind the scenes to get it right to how we want it. Temple's in the house. Wally's in the house. Goddess holding it down. That's what I'm talking about. And I want everything to be as interactive as possible. So you guys in the chat, I definitely want to hear your opinions about setting move sets, tips and tricks that you do. And we're going to talk to, in my opinion, two of the best to do it when it comes to setting a move set. As far as the CAW sliders, I know there's game sliders as well, but we're going to talk a little bit about that affects everything as well. But Iffy is here. There we go. Now we get the party started. If it ain't Iffy, it ain't worth it. All right. So, the Digital Wrestling Syndicate, and here in the gathering, what I'm doing on my channel right now is bringing 50 different E-Feds together. 50 different representatives of all these different E-Feds all over YouTube and even Twitch here brought together. We have 99 wrestlers. We started a tournament. It's just our own version of March Madness. So each one of these logos is a human being that I've met over the past 7 years, brought one of their wrestlers into my company and had fun with it. So let's see if anybody else popped in. We got a nice little packed house here. We got 21 in the building already. Keep those thumbs up coming. We're going to bring on the guests. But right now we're just talking a little basics. So we're going to break down a little of the Blaze basics about move sets and then bring in my two guests. So it's our fourth summit. I had a third written down when I sent out the tweet and everything, but there's certain things that you do when you're setting up your character, and each of these guys that I bring on have their own way of doing it too. So obviously, we talked about communication last week, communication between the showrunner, the eFed owner, and the players of the game, and it's very important. So we will talk about, after I introduce my guest, we are going to talk about personality traits. I bust some people's balls because it's easy to forget. It's in the same screen that you're putting your name and stuff like that, the hometown. And a lot of people send me their wrestler without doing their personality traits. These are important. These tell your character how to ask. We've seen the effect of loyalty. Putting loyalty at 100, we found makes them fight with their tag team better. Makes them not fight their tag teammate as much in rumbles and multi-man matches. So we saw that, along with having them as allies and having them as a tag team. So when we talk about personality traits, we're talking about egotistical or prideful, disrespectful or respectful, desperate or perseverant. We're talking about treacherous or loyal. And that, like I just said, dictates how they play with their teammates, who they're assigned to. Bold or cowardly, aggressive or disciplined. So personality traits are a big deal. They definitely one of the many variables that affect how your character, and we got to be thankful for that. I mean, we could sit here and complain about things we don't like about the game, but we have so many levels, the game sliders, the personal sliders, the overall sliders, the AI sliders, the personality traits, the move sets, the entrances, the look of the character. But we're going to hit personality traits. We're going to talk about finishers and signatures. We're going to talk about the moves that are, too specific, not specific all the time, but to that character. What is their move to put people away? What sets them up and how we set them up? I've mentioned it before that we found in this game, signature one normally sets up finisher one. So if you have a signature one that has a pinning maneuver, it kind of messes up the back-to-back because a lot of times, I'll use mine for instance, I talk about this every week. Fireman's carry cutter. That's called the burner for Blaze McCoy. Puts him up on his shoulders, cutter. Now, that's not a pinning maneuver. So after he does the burner, Blaze stands there. He gets in that position ready to hit the finisher. You guys have seen it. But if you have a pinning mover as signature one, which you can, they're going to pin him. But as a signature, I normally prefer a non-pinning maneuver because it'll set up your finisher. And then hook, line, and sinker. Boom, there's my finisher. So it'll set the signature, sets up the finisher. You don't have to have it that way, but it does bring a little more realism. And that's what these two guys bring, is realism. We want to bring you a TV product. We want to bring you something that you would probably see on TV, but with a digital computer system playing all the characters. All right. So, and these are two guys that they're wild, they're wacky like me, they're characters, their commentary is off the chain, they're off the chain, they're off the hook, they're here to have fun, they're wilding out every time we go live. And that's what we got to do. You got to try to, and I've always told people 3 things make up a good wrestling show. I want to be entertained, I want to be amused, I want to be surprised. You give me those 3 things, you're going to have a pretty fun show. Move sets, we're diving deep into the actual move sets. How to create, what philosophy do you use whenever you're setting up move sets? I like to take it a little further, and this will be a shorter topic. The main topic, obviously, will be move sets, but naming the moves, like the fireman's carry driver. I mean, my fisherman driver, if I call it fisherman driver 2, what kind of effect that going to get? But when I call it hook, line, and sinker, that's the relative back to the fisherman gimmick that I have. I have moves that are named based on the businessman gimmick. And I've showed you guys this before. And for every character, I have a 3x5 card. Their hometown, their nickname, their height, their weight, the championships they've held. And then below, you got your finisher, your setup move or your signature one, your alternate finisher, and your submission move. So also at the same time, you don't have to have a submission move in your top 4 and your signatures and finishers. But if you do, it's going to help, especially if you have, like I do, a tap out princess, a submission championship. We're going to talk about personal sliders, the sliders that you set for each character. and this is all, I mean, I've done so much talking in the last few days, I barely have a voice. 10 hours on the day of the release on Friday live. I did a 7-hour stream and a 3-hour stream. I did my 3 hours yesterday on my regular 24 stream. But tonight we're going to let these guys talk a lot. I'm your host. I'm going to send these different topics to them. And before we leave, we're going to show the slideshow and talk about 2K25 a little more. So we got Matt Storm joining us. You guys make sure. No, we are not having that guy back at commentary ever, Cowboy John. Elite Shy Guy is here. See if I missed anybody else. Brooklyn Joker's in the building. So share best practices in the chat. When we have a topic, give me your ideas. So like Brandon Ace has a crossface he calls the Baltimore Blackout. So now it refers back to his hometown. The Blackout, you have different ways to identify the characters even more. Uniqueness. We talked a lot about uniqueness last week when we talked about creating your wrestler. Make it unique. Have a specific look so you can tell who that character is. You know, the names, the movesets, everything combines into making your character unique. All right. We got GPW in the house. Grand Prix is here. Great to see you. Welcome in, welcome in. Retro's here. Same thing. Temple has a couple moves designated to his character. The Choppa Droppa. Iffy has that helicopter gimmick that she's always been doing. And I was like, we got to name it something that has to do with the helicopter. She had a specific name for it, which meant something to her. But now we've talked together and figured out the Choppa Droppa is the name of her finisher. And I love it. Andy Price in the house. Good to see you. Welcome in, welcome in. So without a bunch of rigmarole and without a bunch of craziness, we're going to bring on the two guests. We're going to start talking about movesets and more. You guys know I like the commercials and the silliness and stuff. We're going to keep it real this time. I'm going to bring my two boys on. They're going to talk a little bit about what they do. They're going to talk a lot about what they do, and they're going to bring it to us. So once again, personality traits, finishers and signatures, the moveset as a whole, naming moves, personal sliders, and then we'll go to 2K25 and talk about the game, which just came out, early release. If you watch my first stream on Saturday, you know my thoughts about a lot of stuff. I let my voice be heard about a lot of stuff, and normally I'm Mr. Positive. But we'll save that talk for later. Let's introduce our two guests, bring them on, and so you guys are already doing well. I have a character named Rebecca May. She's a high flyer. Her finisher is the Eclipse by Amber Moon. I changed it to the Mayday, so it's specific to that character. Love it. Cowboy John, he has the shotgun stunner and the cowboy kick. Cowboy kick is his setup move, and I'm not even looking at the card. I've just had him on my show for so long, I know what his moves are. Brooklyn Joker uses End of Days. It's no laughing matter, he calls it. So I got 99 people. I got 99 problems, but a Rex ain't one. I got 99 wrestlers on my company. You think I'm going to memorize 400 moves? You're crazy. That's why I got these little cards to help out. Daniel Barry's in the house as well. So let's get right down to it. My first guest I've known pretty much since I've been here on YouTube. I've always touted him as the man that brings the most energy when he's doing his commentary. He loves talking about, I mean, we're talking about movesets. We're also talking about the commentary using the moves. A lot of times you don't have to know every move, but it does help to call the wrestling moves. Now, whether you're calling it by the wrestling move or its specific move to that character, it's going to add to it. These two guys bring the energy nonstop. Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest, the one and only DC Twitch. Oh, what's up, Blondie? You're muted. Unmute.
Okay, there we go.
What's up, my man? It's been.
I'm doing good, man.
It's good to have you on. We've had our talks behind the scenes and in live chats many times. So, just give those who may not know who you are a little introduction about how you got into CAW and how you run your company.
All right, what's up, everybody? I'm DC Weldon, or Twitch, as most people know me. I run a fed, well, an all-women's fed known as Dragon Joshi Pro. Have been doing it for 8 years now. And the inspiration behind it wasn't my idea. It was a personal friend of mine, my friend Michael. He was the one that had put the idea in my head. He was like, you like a lot of video game characters, comic book characters, and anime characters. Why don't you incorporate it into a wrestling environment? And I was like, I don't know how that's going to work, but I ran with it. And like I said, doing this for 8 years, it's worked. I'm trying to think what else I want to say.
I mean, we talked a lot about having different companies and different ways to run it in the first 2 summits. This one is an all-female one. He's mixing in anime characters, cartoon characters, superhero characters, created characters, and that's unique. That's something that we talked about Monstar. He has his monsters, he has his real-life characters, and he has his created characters. So that's what I love about this art form. And me and Twitch have called it an art form for years because a lot of people can just press the button, go live, and let it play and just talk to the chat. The 2 guys we're talking to today, we like to take it a step further. The energy, the commentary, bringing that real TV product to the show. And there's Monstar. I mentioned his name and he shows up. So if you haven't, in the description of the show, Twitch's link is already in there, so you guys can check out his channel and follow along. He does other gaming stuff too. He's not only wrestling, F1 stuff, other types of games. He's just a cool dude. I mean, and that's what I like about the guys that I bring on are people that are good with the chat and people person. So Twitch is one that he'll greet you, he'll yell, he'll scream at the characters, he'll have fun and talk about getting into character like we did last week. I mean, this guy does it great. And we got another character going to bring on, and it's the Wig and Mask show, everybody, because here is the one and only Solo Season.
He's the killer. I love this guy. We want to do better things every single time, and I love when you bring somebody new on because it makes me want to level up, Blaze. It really does.
I love it.
It really, really does.
So Solo, he's been on a couple of podcasts with me before on the Get Blaze, as you saw in the preview. His face was on there, and his glorious big hair. He got all that hair. I don't have none. He's jealous.
Not today. Don't do it today.
But here's the thing. So Solo runs Solo Season Universe, and it's a very unique way to run a show as well. So, I mean, character style progression, RPG character style progression, and all, he has his whole spiel, which we all do because it'll tell people what we're doing. We've talked about when people come into our chats and they go, Cena versus Undertaker, or play me online right now. We have to get those people to understand that's not what we're doing. But that's mainly what the game is for playing, for gaming. We are creating and commentating. These guys play a little bit too, but I don't. Here's the thing. Solo, give us a little more about, you have the different planets, you have the different characters, you have the SSU and the SSW. You have 2 different ways of doing it, but I call it the wild, wild west of e-fetting because he lets the characters help, create the storylines. You can bet on the matches, you get points for, your interaction in the chat. So Solo, give us a little more idea about how you got into CAW and digital wrestling and the SSU.
Man, the SSU started as just a kid from N64, WCW versus NWO. I would take out Yushin Thunder Liger. I didn't know who he was at the time, but I know who he is now, and I always make sure to never disrespect his character for that reason, because he's a legend, and I used to delete him as a kid because I didn't know who he was, because I was like, who's this stupid guy? So I would edit his character out before they had character creations, and I would edit him out and create Jay Savage. So this has been going on for a while now, but it all really came from just wanting to hang out with my buddies, right? And I didn't know other people did it. One day, my buddy Max Maximus, who's my current champion right now, actually sent me some links. That's how I found you, Blaze. So shout out to Max Maximus for bringing us on, for bringing me into the world of e-federations. And then after that, it just became, like you said, the wild, wild west. I'm a big free speech guy. I believe that storylines should be above all, and what makes a person matter about a storyline more than making it personal. right? Like you don't read a book, and if you don't know, like I don't know, if you've never been to a cemetery, that's like, why would you be afraid of cemeteries if you've never seen one, right? So you mastercraft it to the person that's in the comments, and that's how the SSU was formed, man. People like you, Blaze, people like Iffy, who created my female division. There was no female division before Iffy showed me that it's possible for women to fight back on and you know, if you guys want to talk about the weirdo, you know, I'm a big again, that's controversy, that Wild Wild West stuff. That's all because of the RPG style character progression, fantasy sports style betting, and the most electrifying four corners. It's up to the people in the comments, and I try my best to taper it. But you, like you said, Wes, I mean, like you said, Blaze, there's really no other way else to explain it. I taper this wild, wild west. And and as a matter of fact, speaking of people that get tapered, the Lord is constantly messaging us during this. He says, people fear the Ripper. All right. And so that's like, you know, that's what I want. I want people to have a good time, but I also want people to have a bad time. I want that to be a possibility. And that's, man, I wish you had like tapered your question more, because now I'm going on a tangent.
No, that's all right.
That's it, man.
He's got the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, he's gonna.
No, and I really do. Yeah, I want it to be.
We want everybody to feel all the emotions, and I've said
Yeah.
that the other day. I mean, we're coming together to have fun, yes, but you're going to be mad when you lose. You're going to get angry sometimes. But it's all in character. I mean, that's that thing,
100%.
and you got to keep it like that. And both of these guys are good at controlling the chat. Like if the chat goes off a tangent, you guys reel them back in.
There's one phrase that we just came up with lately in the chat, because it had to do with money. And, you know, that's a new thing in e-federations. I think the donations are starting to come in a little bit more, buying a ticket, you know, and that adds another layer of controversy, you know, for me. And so lately we've been bringing up the phrase, out of character. And that's like a phrase you use in real life. Like, he got me out of character, right? We've used that in our real lives before. And so the idea of getting me out of character is now a phrase we use in these e-federations, where it's like, ooh, you can't really use that as an excuse, right? Like, oh, I'm out of character right now. Because it's like, oh, well, if you are, you know, so that's one thing where it's like, that's a big thing for me now is getting out of character isn't a good thing, but I do want people to feel emotion. Like, come on,
and
where's my dirty dog?
And here's Monstar, and I'm gonna give him some credit. We had him on the show 2 weeks ago, and my friend Sean would always say, "We need a little more of you personally than just the commentator." And I was like, "Well, they'll follow along, lead by example type stuff." And back in the old eFed days, you would do parentheses around it and say OOC, out of character. And then you're talking out of character so people know. And he's right. When we're doing that now, I will do more of that while I'm live if I have to, and say, you know, out of character, you know, let's not go that way in the chat, or out of character, let's go back to talking about the show, because we're here to bring people together. And what happens when you create a real community, and I always say we're putting unity back in the word community, is that sometimes you do have to break character and talk. You want to keep it focused on what you do. If someone comes in and says, my dog died today. Yeah, we feel bad. We feel horrible. My grandmother just passed away. We're a community. We want to be here for you for that, but the show's not always the best place for that, because it'll take away from us giving a show.
It's not.
But it's not that we don't care. I got to drill that home. It's not that we don't care, but we're trying to run a TV show. You know, that's the, we don't. Now the chat will start to coddle you a little bit. You got good moderators, good people that have been there, and they'll be like, hey, we feel bad. We, you know, hopefully we can take your mind off of it for a while with this video game. And back to the money thing, we've talked about it. Totes and I and Solo, we've discussed it. When you're monetized and you need money, like right now, because my PlayStation 5, I might need a new headset and a sound card. So the money does help, you know. So asking for donations, I was always weird about it. You know, but if I give you a reward like playing roulette, or you get to pick your match, or, you know, something like that, where we can reward and all the money goes back in to help improve your product. But at the same time, let's flip the coin, proverbially. Loyalty is currency. I always say that. If you can't afford to pay $1 or $2 super chat, a like, a share, comments is huge.
DC, how do you handle drama? Like, I mean, I know how Blaze handles his. I haven't really been able to see.
Wait,
how
Before
you
you
handle it.
answer that,
Yeah.
let me give
Yeah,
a
I'm sorry.
definition. There's two
Yeah.
different types of drama in this world.
Yeah, yeah.
We've dealt with some real drama, like people
Mhm.
being trolls, coming in,
Mhm.
using words we
Man,
shouldn't
I can tell
use.
you some stories though, but I'm
Yeah,
not going
Twitch has
to. I'm
been
going.
like the sergeant at arms for this community for a long time. He would bring up
Okay.
problems, but what Solo is talking about, we've had real life people bringing out of character into character. Like, say I
Oh
know
yeah.
some, if I know
Oh, yeah.
something personal about Twitch, and me and
Right.
him, our characters are fighting, I'm not going to bring in a real life situation about him to make him feel bad personally. This is
Right,
character work.
right.
You got to
Yeah.
do character work. So going out of character sometime to explain or to cut someone off or help matters. Now, the drama that Solo's talking about is it's character stuff. It's what happened to this character. Give him some shit. This guy lost 5 in a row. Let's tell him about himself. And his
Yeah.
cohort, Lord British,
Yeah,
his partner, likes
Mhm.
to stir the pot, likes to get the drama going. Now,
it
and me
is.
and Solo, as soon as I met Solo, I was in his DMs and we were like, hey man, drama's a bad word. But once we started talking about it, I got
Yeah.
where he was coming from. He
Yeah.
wants the entertainment drama. Like,
And I
let's have a
mean no
story about it.
harm. I really don't mean any harm, but when someone comes into the chat, like, okay, I'm not gonna bring no names. I'm not gonna say anything, but when something happens, I'm going to and my best way I bring it up is where Dominic Mysterio is now, right? I don't think that would have happened if Eddie and Ray didn't have the custody battle thing,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And as a kid watching that who grew up without a dad, I'm like, hey yo, that hurt. It hurt. I'm like, hey yo, he's fighting for his dad, and like that caused problems with my mom. She here right now.
Yeah.
Like I have to ask her about that. That was real drama in my household because of WWE product. So when I deep dive into stuff like that, I ask people about like move sets and like who's doing the low blows now. I know we're gonna get into that, and I'm just curious because when what we're talking about right now is I'll just put it out there, guys. I get hate watched. You know what I mean? That's what it is. And I'm okay with that
We
because
have our
that's my product.
detractors. Yeah.
That's who I am. But I mean no harm. It is the people in my chat that are making it like that. When Andrew Dubs got the title, it was all about baby faces. It was all about being a good guy. And I started making people wear a lot of LTD outfits and WCW with now TCW outfits. The merger started happening. The good guy shit started happening. That's gone now because the chat ain't about that. So like that's why I wanted to ask DC how how he handles that before we get into move sets, because
Sure.
that forces me to make certain move sets, like maybe edit some moves because of what somebody did in the chat. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if somebody
Yeah.
acts like a
I
dick
agree
in
with
the
that.
chat,
Yeah.
what are we gonna
So
do?
so
Twitch.
the thing about it is I do when it comes to matters like that, because a whole lot of people, because the first thing that I do is this. I always encourage people. If you sign with my Fed, you will get your opportunities. Now, these past couple of years, it's been rough. I'm gonna say this personally because I've been in school.
This man's out here getting tons of diplomas and
Yeah.
he is doing his thing
Yeah.
IRL, and we can't
Yeah,
hate on that.
you
I
can't
mean,
really
he's
Hey,
say
out here
hold it up
getting
for the
massive.
family. Hey, there it is. Hold it up for the
Yeah.
family.
Yeah,
Go
All
get
right.
you
he's out
guys.
there doing real
Yeah.
shit, man. So I
Yeah.
do got a lot of props for that.
So it's been kind of difficult for me to, I've been having to cut back on shows. But the thing about it is that I am grateful for the fact that some people are understanding, and even more so, the people that do what you had mentioned, Solo, regarding the drama and stuff, though, because the thing about me is this. I love it when people, when they come to my feed, they cut promos. When they start cutting promos, I could be like, okay, what you want?
Yeah.
What you want? Because the thing about it is this. When you show me participation, that's like that in turn will then allow me to be up there like, okay, this person's participating. No, they gonna get,
You're giving me something to work with.
let's work with them,
Yeah.
But if you're there, and you're just there just for a
Trolling.
spot, just there for a spot, or if you're there to be a troll. Because the thing about it with me is this, though. I've been dealing with a person since 2K19 who has had a problem with me, though, for no reason other than the fact that I happen to be friends with people that they don't like, and they also can't
Because I'm
stand.
better than you.
So
No, I'm just kidding.
this is a good example of there's good and bad drama we're talking about.
Yeah.
This is someone who would make videos on Twitch and talk shit, make up lies about him, talk about his federation. You know, this is personal. This is outside the game. This isn't just someone playing a character. This is someone out to ruin you, and that's the bad type of stuff.
We've
But
had it.
when you're talking about
it.
in the chat and in the live stream, I always like to say this: anything you can say or type will be held against you in the court in the chat of Blaze.
100%.
So can we write that down?
We're gonna have
that needs
fun
to be
with
a T-shirt.
Because the thing about it is that you know, when it comes to looking at what Blaze does, I'm trying to slowly incorporate that because the thing about it is when it comes to people in my chat, they like to talk about stuff that's happening with WWE and AEW, and then the thing about it is, and that's like, and then the thing about it is though, starting next season, once my show gets going this season, we putting a stop to that.
Yep.
Then that's like, you got to focus on what's going on, because the thing about it is that what's going to happen this upcoming season, we going to start really turning it up though. Because the thing about it is the fact that the women can now bleed, that really ties into one of my characters, a character that Blaze knows very well, that of course being the head nurse herself though. Yeah, we really about to turn up with Florence Nightingale next season. She about to turn up.
Yeah.
They try. That's what I mean. They try to destroy.
Florence Nightingale is going to turn up next season, though, because the thing about it is that I know how we're talking about movesets and stuff, but the thing about it is, though, you brought up personality traits, Blaze. Now, here's the thing with me, Solo, and Blaze already knows this.
Yeah, let's get into
most of the characters I get, I don't make original calls that much. I get them from video games, comic books, and all that other stuff. Florence Nightingale is a character from a game that I play. And the way that she operates is this. Like if you know anything about Florence Nightingale, the actual person, how she was and stuff, though. Yeah. In the game that she's in, Fate Grand Order, Florence Nightingale literally has a skill that is called madness. She has a skill that is called madness enhancement. So basically, what madness enhancement does is that depending on the level of it, it can affect their mindset. With Florence Nightingale, her madness enhancement is at the highest, that being EX madness enhancement. So she's only focused on one thing, and that is doing whatever she can to save lives. So for her, for her in game, so let's say, for example, right, Solo, you send me one of your girls, right? Or no, it's like, then let's not even talk about the call. Let's talk about the head nurse for a second. Florence Nightingale will be like this. Oh, you sneezed? Or you cut your hand? Okay, like you cut your hand, for example.
Everyone knows
her treatment would be to chop off your entire arm, sort of thing.
Right. Yeah.
That's her entire mindset is
throw out the baby with the bathwater. It's like
basically, that's basically what it is. And then the thing about it is that when I made Florence Nightingale, this wasn't my idea. Once again, this was my friend Jedi's idea, because he saw Florence Nightingale in game. He immediately fell in love with her, wanted me to make her. But little did we know, we had no idea that we had literally opened Pandora's box, though, because Florence Nightingale went on a freaking tear her first season. She won 29 matches in a row. And this was before I started using Share Factory. I was doing this in game. Her moveset was basically like, she locks in any sort of submission, you're tapping no. She hits you.
That's crazy.
It's a shock. It's over. It was it was wraps, bro.
And so with that going down, see what you just said goes into what we're doing is movesets, like the submissions. I've got a guy, you know, because you got someone who does the same thing. I've got a guy who calls it the cleansing. And so, and I don't, but the problem is that it's so real with what I got going. The Lord is in my DMs right now. He's like, you know, he's messaging me. So I'm just going to say, he brought up a good point with the Florence Nightingale. We have the same character in male form where but he does it in a bad way. And I'll admit that I have a troll as my co-host. I do. Yeah, what we talk about, what we're talking about. I mean, I try to You gotta
Hashtag
have,
not my lord, not my lord.
yeah,
Hashtag.
not my hashtag, not my
That's
yo.
my
Bend the knee and
hashtag
praise
for it.
him. And so again, you gotta for me, when it comes to that, the Florence Nightingale character, right? What you're doing is invoking that
Yeah.
emotion out of somebody where it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want my character to get massacred on this man's show.
You
It
know what the
feels
funny
bad.
thing is, though?
Yeah.
You know what the funny thing is? It's funny you bring that up, Saul, because you want to know the reason why. I'm basically going to tell it to you like this. Florence Nightingale, in my Fed, everyone saw what she did that first season that I made her. People like Kyle and my other friend Cara, they have basically been like, Twitch, don't you dare put me up against her. That's just how much of a freaking impact. And
Listen, okay.
Now, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing you guys don't realize, especially Blaze. Blaze don't realize this, though. When I made Florence Nightingale, she was meant to be a joke, Carl. She was meant to be a joke. And
so was Rex.
Rex is number one. Do you ever call Rex a joke?
He has a little history with the head nurse.
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
he's always tried. He's always tried to.
He's trying to court the head nurse, though, despite the fact that she's married. But but the thing about it is, the other thing about it is that when it comes to, because here's what I do. Because the characters that I pull from video games, what I do is this: I try to look at every little thing about them. I will go to 3 or 4 different websites. Personality traits, like personality traits. And then the thing about it also is this, though, because this year I'm going to be making characters from Zenless Zone Zero. So I'm going to be making characters from that game this year, and then there's going to be one character I'm going to be making who is literally a rat. She is a
no, come on. Wait, what do you mean? Possum, big old Possum is a real dude from Australia, a real wrestler that I had in my E-Fed. Big old shout out to Big Old Possum. And so listen, when it comes to the personality traits and there's a big storyline in my universe where tunes were banned. We don't have tunes, and it specifically has to be banned. The tunes have to be banned because movesets start to go crazy, right? People have a very structured moveset in my universe for their personality. You're not going to see the Lord hitting a head scissor takedown. You're not going to see Jay Savage. He has been doing some luchador stuff lately. We had some drama. Anyway, but there's always a moment where how far are you willing to take the tune stuff? You know what I mean? Like how far is personality trait to moveset?
So I just saw that. Talking about they dropped another update.
We got
that's two
patch 4.
There's 2 updates in the same weekend, dude.
All right, we'll get to the 2K25 stuff, but specifically here on what we're seeing, these traits. So Twitch, is there anything, let's start with Twitch here, anything that you want to point out as far as what you like to specifically look at, not one character but in general, anything you want to highlight about selecting these personality traits?
So here's what I do and then I was just about to bring this up. When it comes to a character that I'm making, like I said, I go to many websites. I try to pull out as much information as I can.
Very good.
That information that I pull in ties into the way the call is made. Like I'll go back to Florence Nightingale. Florence Nightingale, like I said, her personality is she's trying to save all lives. And then the way that she operates in game, she is willing to do whatever it takes. So when it comes to her personality trait, she is going to be very aggressive I always max out that aggressive bar when it comes to Florence Nightingale because that is the way that she is in game.
For me, right? That's funny because you're talking about bad guys, right? So the big one I point out is the aggressive discipline trait as well. But if you scroll down for me, Totes, I just want to read out the
I can't.
Oh, you can't do it. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's just a screenshot.
Okay, but if I believe that's the one, no, I apologize, but I believe that's the trait where it says a character will want to stay in the ring or stay out of the ring, more disciplined to get into the ring. So what I've noticed is that guys or characters in general, guys or girls with the aggressive or discipline will get more countouts, right? Because they're where the referee is willing to count. Like, okay, so you'll be at like 5, 6, and most characters with more discipline will start getting in the ring
Oh
because
yeah.
they're not trying to get counted out. And what'll happen in my universe is people like Vipiro, bad guys, will fight until 8, and then they'll do a move and then get a count out victory because they left the guy there and there was only 1 second for them to win. So that's one thing I'll point out to people. If you do want a character that does that shiesty count out victory, I believe that slider there, that personality trait is one of the best ways to stop it from happening.
Oh
Because
yeah.
if everyone is disciplined in the ring, everyone will get in
Yeah.
the ring at 5
Gotcha.
or 6 instead
Everyone
of
would get in the
7,
ring.
8, or 9.
All right, we got Totes chiming in. If you want a wrestler to do less taunting, move the slider for egotistical pride towards the center. You want more, crank it up. So that's
Yeah.
another good one.
Sinful.
Yeah, simple
And the
stuff.
I was about to say, don't you? I want 32 minutes of taunting
But
in
the
Yeah,
my
same
real
thing with
simple
episode.
stuff. Real
the
simple
one
stuff.
the one that's highlighted, I talked about earlier, loyalty. And you see,
Yeah,
I should have a slide for each one, but the camaraderie shared with other superstars reinforces
yeah,
trust and motivation between tag teams. We've seen, and I've proven it with Rumbles. If you have your loyalty at 100, you have them as your ally, and they're a
yeah,
tag team, they
Yeah.
will not fight each other in Rumbles.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, they
that
will
is,
not.
unless
That's
they
such a
have
good
to, but it's
point.
down to 2. And that adds
So something,
realism.
yeah, and that does, man. And so what you're talking, I don't even because you get my brain going, right? Something me and Totes had a phrase that we talked about earlier or early in the week is animation detection and collision detection. I think that
Oh yeah.
2K25 has collision detection and 2K24 has animation detection, where it's not
It
like the two
does.
characters are actually hitting, it's the two animations that are coming together. So when you have loyalty and treacherous, what I think in my mind, right, what I think happens, and this is just my crazy brain, is I picture a ultra instinct bubble, almost like just a big bubble around the character that gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and any ally that's closer, the more you put your loyalty up, the bigger that bubble gets. Right. And
Yes.
that's how I've kind of noticed it, where it's like in a rumble, if you have two characters that are tag team allies and at 100% loyalty, their bubbles will keep them so far away from each other that you can almost kind of like see the game giving them a distance of not hitting
Yeah,
each
that
other.
berth. Yeah, that real wide
Yeah,
berth between the two.
it's
Yeah.
like a wide berth. Exactly. That's well put. Yeah, but Totes and Totes bringing up the taunting and stuff. No, no, don't you ever turn your taunting down ever. This is wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
because the
that's the
thing
thing.
about it with me is that when it comes to my show, if someone taunts and then they wind up getting nailed with a big move, I just be in commentary. That's what happens when you taunt. That's
That's
what
it.
happens when you taunt.
Well,
You know.
I mean, taunts are still important. You want them to
Oh
do it,
yeah,
but
they
I
are.
get it. Sometimes you get someone who's doing taunts like nonstop, and it's like
Yeah.
affecting the match. But the
Dude,
bottom line
anybody
is
who's got the Hulk Hogan taunt is just
the
a fan of
personality
mine.
traits will help affect how your wrestler fights.
Oh
Yeah.
It
yeah,
really
especially
is important. So those who,
yeah.
when you're setting up your character, I mean, I know you pick your persona first and you go into the look, but when you put your name, it's right there when you do name and hometown. Don't forget personality traits. They can
Oh yeah.
affect a lot. Now let's
Because the
talk a
thing
little bit.
about it is, though, before we got on here, I was
All right.
actually working on one of my characters. Though, and the thing about it is, after I had set up our personal information, I immediately went into those personality traits and stuff. And the thing about it was, once again, back to those websites, put out all the information. I was up to like, okay,
Yep.
this.
I'll say this too. Listen, I'll be honest, man. I'm going to give credit to everybody in the comments and everything. We are the spear tip. Like, I don't go to anybody else. Like, I'm going over to Blaze. I'm going over to
Yeah, we
Toast.
have
He's
each
doing
other. That's
he's
what the
got, bro,
community's all
he's got
about.
the deepest, darkest black circles in his eyes. He's been up 12 hours hitting the game and he's looking for the same thing I'm looking for. I'm not worried about nothing. Like, everybody, like, and if you come to my page, that's the first thing you'll see on my page is me telling you that people be out here lying. People be out here lying to you. There's a bunch of, you know what I mean? Like, we don't do that. And so sometimes I can't trust. I trust my community. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So
Well, I've seen
that's
over and
where
over, you
that's the
see those guys that do the videos, best sliders for AI, best sliders this, and I've tried them, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
But instead of
Yeah.
going to
You
those
got it.
videos now, I go to my boys. I go to the
right,
girls and that are testing it out. We have,
right.
little group chats of people that are testing matches, testing sliders, testing
Yeah.
things. And that's one thing we're going to get to the
Yeah,
like
because I
the
will tell
personal
you that.
sliders too. But it's
Yeah.
like you can
Yeah, because I'll
affect the
tell you
game.
though, I will take like a week just fooling
Yeah.
around with sliders.
Yep.
An
And
entire
that's
week.
these.
Like,
I mean,
And
that's
then
why I
the
want.
new update comes out and it fucking
yeah, and then the
ruins
new
it.
update comes out, Blaze, though,
I'm
and
so done with that.
and then it's like all that work you put in trying to
Oh
perfect
my
it
god, let's do
window. So it's
finishers
like,
and
You
signatures,
do your
man.
game sliders, but they don't transfer to universe. You're like,
Oh, how man? Do you want to give away that secret, Blaze? You want to tell them how we do the copy and
you know what the
we'll
thing
do that
about
next
it is,
episode.
though? You know the thing about it is, Blaze and Solo, that was the main reason why I started using Share Factory.
yeah,
Because the fact that the sliders did not transfer over universe mode, and then it was just like, and then it was just like
well, the
matches were ending after like one finisher. And I was like,
the
man,
game
I don't
is
wanna do
not.
this.
I've said this a million
I'm like,
times. The
man,
game we are morphing this game to make it what we want it. They
Oh, yeah.
want kids to buy it and play as John Cena and spend a bunch of money in the Byland. I call it the Byland, not the island. It's the Byland of
Yeah,
Hey,
the
yo,
Byland.
talk about that, Blaze. Let's
It's
talk about that.
the
it's
Listen,
the Byland of currency. We'll get to that later. Let's get to finishers and signatures. So briefly, real quick, I want to go to each of you guys and the importance of your philosophy on when you're setting up a character, designing their signatures and finishers. I talked a little bit earlier about, the fact that signature one sometimes sets up finisher one, blah, blah, blah. It's all up to that person. Now we can have, a bunch of finisher slots more. And then I also tell people, if this is your main finisher, please go to the out of the ring and put it there too, because if he's going to go outside the ring and do it, you want to see them do the regular. A lot of people, they'll just set, all right, all my moves are Kane, and then I'm going to go in and change a couple things, but they forget to change their finisher to the outside the ring finisher, and that's adding uniqueness to your character. So
that's not master crafting. You cannot trust the game to make a good. You cannot trust the guys that create these characters. Macho Man Randy Savage had a kip up head scissors takedown. Stop it. He's never done that in his life. You cannot trust the game.
People who are in Blaze's chat, I'm going to tell you something, though, that I've learned over the 8 years I've been doing this. If you are going to copy a moveset from one of the wrestlers in game, you are literally setting yourself up for failure because here's the thing about me. Seeing as we're talking about movesets and finishers, I'm going to tell you guys something that I do that I'm willing to bet that no one does. Not you, Solo, not you, Blaze. I'm going to tell y'all what I do. I go through every single move.
That's master crafting.
That's called,
old and new. Because here's the thing that most people probably don't realize. Remember back in 2K21, the curb stomp where you bounce off the ropes?
Yeah.
That was what I call a priority 0 move.
Yeah.
What that means is that if you give your CAW that, if that is their first finisher, they will hit it every single time. And this was because you wanted a reason why the reversal window back then for that curve stomp was very, and I do mean very small, like microscopically small. Yeah, that's what I do. I look at every single move,
and so that ended up that what you're talking about ended up becoming a thing for my universe because I'll be honest. He shame people, right? That's kind of like I won't go in and change your moveset because then they get mad at me and say, well, this is a sports-based thing. Don't change my moveset, Jordan, blah, 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 blah. But Master Crafting came around when I'll admit it, the story came around. Miguel Morales had nothing but finishers in his moveset.
It doesn't count.
This is THQ, everybody. This is not THQ time.
And so again, Solo allowed it because it exposed it and he became a part of the community, but he was a heel because of it. And so his true storyline, no matter where he goes, is Miguel Morales, the Spanish God, aka the man of 5,000 finishers, 5,001, 5,002. He's selling finisher. It's like, okay, you make finishers great again. Make moves that you see in real life. Shout out to Digital Dogs. Okay, we're talking about finishers, the signatures. My man Dogs does the push-ups.
Yeah.
And then he jumps right up to a choke slam, bam, match over, best 15 seconds you've seen of the whole show. And so that for me is master crafting. And when he's talking about a high priority move, we're talking about frames per second, right? We're talking about the leg. Boy, listen, Jay Savage has the leg lariat for one reason and one reason only. It is, you can't catch the animation. My character's like way up over here somewhere, so your stupid clothesline and spear doesn't register. And what will register is me just going over the top of you, and the animation has a quick recovery, right? So not only do we look at the animation attacks, but we look at the animation recoveries. What is the reversal window? Do you end up in a 50-50 or do you end up in a 90-40 situation, right? Your signature getting reversed in Solo Season Universe, you better look at it, because if you have a signature like the cutter, you get reversed and you get put in a 50-50, and they might do their finisher and you might reverse them back, because I've got 100. So, I've got 100 finishers. So finishers for me take a lot when it comes to animations, like the sports level aspect of it. Pick your favorite finisher, but I bet you it's slow as ever. I bet you the setup, it's never gonna land. Jab, 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 jab. You're gonna have Tochima Goats in your face with the jab, jab, jab. He's got a 32 jab animation, and he's gonna stop everything in the middle of it. So for SSU, mastercrafting goes more than just like, because we made fun of Miguel for having a move set that's too good, which is it's kind of a, it's a dirty game we play, right? We want it to be entertaining, but we also want it to be sports based. So if you want to go there, be that bad guy. But that's where your storyline goes. And so mastercrafting move sets is everything, signatures and finishers. Everything.
So just to elaborate, what one thing I wanted to cover that I've covered before about setting up move sets is I look at it three different ways. We've talked about one way, which is, all right, my guy's a lot like CM Punk, so I'm gonna copy CM Punk's entire move set because I want to be like CM Punk. That, to some extent, it's all up to the showrunner. If they want people like that, that's fine. But what master crafting, what you and Totes have coined that term is it's going through and making sure, oh, wait, that move, he would never do that move. Change it. Oh, wait a minute. That move doesn't really make sense for this guy.
Shame. Your mom would be ashamed of you for making that.
Now, here's a second way. A second way is kind of in between. When I do my applications for LTD, I ask you for 3 WWE in-game characters that are like your character. So what I'll do, all right, Drew McIntyre, I'm going to copy because I want Drew McIntyre's rope moves. I want his high flying. I want his taunts. And then we got Braun Breaker. All right, I want Braun Breaker's ground moves. I want his strikes. And
Definitely
then we got CM Punk. I want his entrance, I want his little moves, and I want his finishers and signatures. So I'm taking 3 characters and kind of mixing in between. So now it's a little bit of variety. But if you really want it, you go full blast. You go through each category. You say, does that make sense for my character? Yes or no? Look at the move. Master, that is master crafting. It's going through every single move.
I hope one day every match you post your cards up almost like 2 days, 3 days in advance. Go and upload a new, like, I'm not saying, I know this would be a lot of work. Go and upload a new move set to match the dude who you're fighting. Right? Be like, okay, I got this match coming up. And so I'm preparing for the fight now. Right. And it's like, okay, where there's like another level to it where you're scouting. Right. And I know that sounds crazy, but guys are out there being trash. They are. Guys are out there being trash. And like, it's hard to watch some people's matches because I can't. You again, you don't have any structure to your character. So the match has no structure. And even if you got somebody in the ring that's good with you,
I'm a 6 foot, I'm a 6 foot high flyer and I'm going up against a 7 foot giant. My moves might be a little different that match.
I've never seen, dude. Right.
You're not going to do the same moves as a little guy when you're fighting a bigger guy. You're going to want to chop down the cherry tree. You're going to want to do something to soften him up to get him to that point. I get it.
Where is the drop toe hold? Where?
I'm still waiting to see chain wrestling in 25. I haven't seen it yet.
And to add on to what you were.
Go ahead. Oh, we're losing Twitch.
Go ahead. I know my
frozen
thing.
Twitch.
Oh, my thing. You guys can hear me still, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you. Yeah, you're just frozen.
Give me a second. but let me.
That is the worst freeze picture ever.
He's like,
I'm sure.
But
I
let
mean,
me,
listen, we're gonna.
let me leave out and come back in.
yeah, go and come back. So we're gonna let him touch base on that. But just reiterate something. When we're talking about setting up your characters, this is unique to that federation. So what you might do for Solo is different for Totes, is different for Twitch, is different for Blaze. So you might need to make some changes or be okay with having your CAW changed a little bit.
So
good. Rich. Finish your thought.
So what I was going to say before the thing froze is that you were talking about the moveset solo. The thing about it with me is this. That also ties into what it is I do with your CAW. Because the one thing to me is that if you have a CAW that kind of just relies on one move, I can't really do that much with you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really do that much, unfortunately.
I could, but it's just super kick, spear, super kick, spear. It's like, hey, yo, come on, like, okay, cheesy, like, come on. But that's where I'm at with it, because I'm calling it. I'm calling it out. I'm calling the weirdo stuff out.
If you're in different universes, chances are the sliders are a little
different.
So the move sets are going to vary too. So I get, like you're saying, in a perfect world, I would sit before each show and say, here's my match card. Wait, this guy would probably change his moves and then go check. That's a shit ton. We already do a ton of work, but in a perfect world, you would want to cater your wrestlers' moveset different every match.
100%. Yeah. And the other thing
I
wanted to bring up was here is another little tip that I want to give people, though, when it comes to making your movesets. Do yourself a favor. Try not to use a lot of moves that target two body parts, because what happens is this. So let's say, for example, right, you got a move, right, where the head is red, but the body is also being targeted. Mm-hmm. It's not fully 100% on the head, though. It pretty much drops down to 75-25 or even lower, depending on the move animation. How do I know this? Because back in the day, when I first made Cinderfall from Ruby, her moveset wasn't how it was now. And guess what happened? She was getting beat on by people that had move sets that only prioritize one move. Now, I'm not telling people not to use moves that target both head and body, or will target, or will target like the leg and body,
Well, but that's so true. I went on the opposite direction. Like, I went the opposite way. So Blaze has the original, like, I love watching Blaze because he has the original version of Solo of Jay Savage, which was my storyline, because I didn't know Blaze very well at the time, and I was new to the universe. And so I think the best thing that people can do for an E Federation, if you're new, is to be the jobber. You know what I'm saying? Don't come in and say you're going to be a champion. Don't be you've got one win over nobody we know. You've got I'm the Triple Crown 5,000 champion in my own universe. I've sat in my room and played this game for 400 hours and still don't know anything about the movesets. You're not coming here telling us nothing about that. The three people on your screen right now, we live and die by this sword. We really, really do. And so when it comes down to people in these ideas of what you think you want and all this other stuff, like you gotta come to me,
though, man. Because in 2K23, no, because the thing about it is, though, in 2K23, I had a couple of people. They joined my fed. They was acting all arrogant with their
right. And that's I got some people that have shut that down. And shout out to the homeboy, by the way. Well, let's just talk about it. You got in the homeboy's DMs and was trying to go to his house. That's how mad you were about this video game. That's how far it goes. I'm not gonna count no names, but but listen, we're gonna bring up real stuff. And Jay Savage, okay, my original version was I wanted to be the jobber. My catchphrase was I lose better than you win. Right, and so you got Jay Savage hiding underneath the ropes. I'm hiding underneath the ropes the whole match. I'm cheating you out. I'm low blowing you.
Part of wrestling is putting it over. The one
because
thing I
the thing
want to
about it, I'm sorry, Blaze.
hold on. The one point I want to make real quick is you were talking about you don't want to just target one feature or two features, but here's the thing. Here's another way to look at it. My finisher is a shot to the head. If you don't have any moves to the head, the whole move set. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing?
Or if you're an arm bar, say it's an arm bar.
And your finisher.
Yeah, if your arm bar is your submission finisher, you better have some moves throughout your moveset.
Shout out to Andrew Dubs. I already know who you're picking on. I already know who you're picking on. Andrew Dubs. You got every move to the head, and his finishers a spinning arm bar.
Here's a question for us. What would you suggest for a moveset that's slight everywhere due to having a slight heel, but also face style gimmicks?
Ankle lock.
Okay.
Switch good.
Okay. Real good question for me though, because the thing about it is that I have a perfect call who is kind of on the edge like that, because when it comes to Cinderfall in Dragon Joshi Pro, I call her the queen of controversy, because the thing about Cinderfall is that she can be good 1 minute and she can be bad 1 minute. She will not hesitate to shit. Then that's like, she will shake your hand 1 minute, but then the next minute she'll slap you in the face, sort of thing. So
I love that cutscene, by the way, in universe mode. Love that cutscene.
Yeah.
Love that cutscene.
So the way that Cinderfall's moveset is tailored is this though. She has some face style type moves, but she also has some dirty moves as well though. I purposely give Cinderfall low blow.
I was going to say
as a signature
checker.
As a signature. Well, not necessarily a signature though. I find somewhere in a moveset to slide it in there so that she might be face right now, but she can be dirty when she wants, sort of thing.
That's also, and that's the one thing that I do want to say about people. And Blaze, this is where, I always might seem controversial, guys. I just have my take on things, right? Right. And so I don't mean it, like when people ask me questions like that, my main answer is pick a side. That'll kill it all for you, right? If you have a moment
one way to do it.
If you want to stop that controversy of not quite wanting to be a bad guy, because bad guys don't get love, and being a good guy means you have too much responsibility, and you might have to watch someone's back, and you might not be there. I understand that, but that's where the E Federation gold lies for me, Blaze, and that's where it all lies for us. When you guys are in the comments in that controversy, like what you're trying to do, I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm just saying how I feel, and I hope people take it and run with it. But if you choose a side, if I think the best tweener move for me is an ankle lock, right? Because it's finesse, but it's also like, you're also like, doing bad guy stuff. So to answer your question, I think it's ankle lock, but at the same time, I think the best way to do it is to pick a side, be true to your form and not be afraid to get a little heat. Shout out to Rex. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I mean that's a good way to put it. It's a good. I mean, and for LTD, it's pretty much everyone's a tweener, but sometimes you're leaning towards, pun intended, one way or the other, because it's a pre-apocalyptic wasteland. I mean, it's just the gladiators fighting, so they're all mean, angry
dog
people
eat dog,
that just want to win. Yeah, dog eat dog. So some of them may look to the crowd for some cheering. Some might middle finger the crowd. So you're gonna have a give or take with that here. I would much rather have cause defined sides and tweeners. And that's the difference. That's the thing. We all run our federations different. There's no wrong way to do it. Some people want, hey, you're either a good guy or a bad guy.
A good guy, a bad guy.
I kind of leave it out there for interpretation. If Ben, he wants you to be, you're either good or bad, so it helps him run the federation better.
Right.
Me, I leave that gray area so you can go either way if you want. You'll be mad this week, and next week you're gonna go to the fans and kiss babies and hug grandmas. Next week you're spitting on the kids and smacking a grandma.
I'll say this too. So like to break it down on, because we're going to move sets, we're going to personality traits that really are custom to each E Federation, to everyone out there that's a talent, as I like to call them, everyone who's a talent out there who has a character. To each federation, it differs, and also what our goals are differ. So you have to also respect the owner, of the dude who's running it. So listen, I will give you major moments. Blaze has the only, I talked about it all the time. He's got the only platform and he's the only one that can do it. I think that can fit like on Access TV. If one day MTV pops up and it's like virtual wrestling, I think it's going to be Blaze. You know what I'm saying? Where he's going to be hitting the button. He's going to be on the point. There's 42 people in the ring. He knows everyone's names. He's got cards. He's organized enough to do it. And he's created a platform that allows me to come on here and do it. My platform's a little bit too controversial. I've got a lot of people that'll jump in and be like, oh, suck me up. You know, and that is what I want, because my name is Paul Heyman. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of feeling I want for my universe. I want guys to be a little afraid. I want the realism and virtual reality to walk that tightrope. But that's me. That's me. I can't support everyone with my storylines because I can't do cutscenes with 13 people. I can't do it. But you know who can enjoy Blaze Radios? All 32 people in the chat. I know my numbers. I know people leave because my match isn't happening, so I'm out of here, right? But I know it. I see the difference, and I'm willing to admit it as a businessman. Some people sell apples, some people sell oranges, some people sell motherfucking lettuce, and everybody wants their own thing. And so what I say to people again, when it comes to this E-Federation move sets, it all comes down to, are you even aware enough? Like, period. Are you aware enough of what's going on around you in that E-Federation to even sit there and claim this or claim that? And don't you dare come in there with make super kicks great again, man. Make super kicks great again. Damn it.
Yeah, to add on what you were saying, Solo, you were talking about respect, you know, the owner and stuff. You know, that right then, that's like that right there really ties into how not just the current Fed you're in, but other Feds are going to, you know, view you. Because the thing about it is this, I've said this to many people before, when it comes to this community, word travels so fast. Word travels so fast. You could be a Fed owner that has 100K followers. All it takes is for you to do one bad thing and everything goes up in smoke.
Amen.
I'm telling you, everybody.
The end.
When it comes to Blaze, when it comes to Solo, and when it comes to me, you treat us with respect, you best believe we will give you that respect back. And especially when it comes to Blaze is not going to leave you hanging. Now I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'll be your best friend, but you cross me, I'll be your worst.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Blaze don't say no disrespect. I've seen him go off on people in the chat, and that's where people get me twisted.
I have never seen Blaze go off.
I've learned the hard way.
I hope I never see.
Normally it's in DMs. I don't like to do it on a stream, but if I've had people to come in, when's my match? When's my match? Do I have a match?
Where's my match? And so, like you said, though, DC, like you said, word travels fast around here. Word travels fast around here, and so people lie too. You hear me? People will be on some weird stuff, set you up for weird storylines. And let me just say this, Jay, Solo season ain't done. Listen, you ain't hiding behind no shadows. And 90% of the time, those people just want to be seen. So I'll let you be seen. I have every piece of drama that's ever come my way, and that's probably going around in the E-Federation universe like right now, has crossed my path, and I've made $1 or $2 off of it. And those people haven't come back. Or if they have, you know what I'm saying? We've done good business. So it becomes a thing where that's what Jay Savage and Solo Season is about, is good business. And if you want to come in there with the disrespect and you want to do this, you want to do that. And again, if your moveset's trash and we tell that to you and you feel some type of way, blah, 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 you got to come and hang out and see how big this is. We're at the CAW summit right now. Like hundreds of people watch this and course correct and don't even give my man the respect that he deserves. You know what I'm saying? For setting it up. So you got to understand how much BS we have to eat on the back end And on the front end, you get guys like, again, me. If you Andrew Dubs, I love you to death, man. You know I picked on you for years. We picked on you for years, and now you were my double champion. You changed the universe. You were the tune. The storyline was crazy. I think it upped you in every universe because everyone started realizing he changed a little bit. Like his real life attitude, I think, changed. He felt like he could carry the weight now, and it just you got to respect people that and again, the Lord's in my DMs right now. Say respect the greatest.
And there are some people, and it's a good point by Blade Charge. There are some people, and we understand they're going to come in because they're in 52 feds. They're going to come in, watch their match, and leave. So they're not going to know the stories that are going on, what's developing, what happens. I've been trying to do something big at the end of all my shows because I remember back in the day, I want to give people something. You'll know the reference back in the day. I want to give the kids something to talk about at the lunch table on Tuesday.
Yeah.
In school.
Good point.
You know, because Monday night leave you with a cliffhanger on Raw. So for people who just come and watch their match, you're going to miss a lot on my show.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing stuff at the end of each show that's a shocker to make you want to come back and watch the next
and
show.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for bringing that part up too, because I know we're supposed to be talking about movesets, and I know we're kind of going off, and this is where we're at. But you know, if we want to move on from this, my last point I'll say about it is, I mean this, and that's why I take everything I do so seriously, down to even the disrespect. I'll set you up for a good storyline off of you disrespecting me. Totes is one of the dudes who was like, I won't bring up names, but we all were in the DMs. Totes, Blaze, me, we were all kind of like, hey, this is crazy. Like, are you really going to allow this kind of like underage storyline to pump up? Yep, I sure am. Because I got a bunch of underage kids that I got that are on the precipice of becoming young men that I think can handle it. Women, on the other hand, I had a problem with. So shout out to Iffy for, again, showing me that there's some tough, salty dogs out there. You hear me? That just like the Lord who tests all your guys' nerves, you guys know he also donates to charity. Like, you guys know he's there every day, and every one of your guys' shows he watches. He's in the DMs right now, and people that have 3 or 4 viewers, he's probably one of your 3 or 4 viewers. He wants everyone to be good, but that we can't just be like, hey guys, be better, because every time we do, you guys are like, oh, I'm the best, and like, you know, hey, whatever, keep your ego. But master crafting movesets, it's a new thing. It's getting brought out. It's getting flushed out thanks to the new sliders. And WWE needs to start giving Blaze credit, me credit, DC credit, because what's the point? They opened up a whole new plethora of AI and like sliders and things like that. Where are they getting that from? That's from us, baby.
I mean, that's a sign, and I've talked about this, that I think until we get that complete sandbox to be like, I want cutscene 1 after match 1, I want the interview after match 3, I want this attack to go down after match 4. We don't have that yet, but the fact that they now have AI tendency sliders for specific moves, so you can tell, I want this move only at the end. I want this move throughout the whole move set. I want this move only used at the beginning of a match. And how frequently they use it. They use it sometimes. They use it all the time. That's huge. That's the first time, I think Odd said that's the first time since like 2K15 where they've made
we have it, right? We have it, but you have to play this really like, you have to be a like, so this is how I build my show, guys. Like, I'll start with a cutscene. So each cutscene needs to lead into the next show, the next match, right? So we had my best example is the Lord losing to H-Dog, who's a rookie, right? That was supposed to be a big freaking deal. He beats the Lord, but then the cutscene is he gets jumped by the pillars. Jay Savage and Totes, or Jay Savage and Weapon X come out and jump this new guy. Like, who do you think you are? And then Lord's in the Royal Rumble, and then he chases after him to the Royal Rumble. So, like, as much as we can set up these things, it's so complicated and so complex. That's what makes us us. But it is nice to see, you know, them catering to us. We're the ones who keeps your game alive for 5 years.
It's the first major AI upgrade, AI verse, AI specific since like 2K15. But here's what I say. Do not let the cutscenes and using those hold you back. I have done cutscenes without a cutscene. I had the angle with the Madness. I would say, they're at the ramp again at the end of the show. Here they come, standing at the ramp. You don't have to see it. I have to paint the picture and sell it to you. Here's someone getting attacked. Oh my! Someone came down to the ring first. I skipped the next entrance and said he came through the crowd. There's no video of that happening. We have to use our own creativity in our mind to make imaginary cutscenes happen. There was
Is
an
that where
attack.
the radio comes in your name? I know that like it reminds me of the old stories that you would hear on
Yeah,
radio.
our
That's
job
awesome.
is to paint the picture for you guys and draw the picture. All we have is the video game. But if you
Yeah.
just leave it at that, you're kind of you're pigeonholing yourself. What I do is I want to just draw. I want to make you guys imagine something like at the last show. I got taken. I got abducted. I got
Yeah.
stolen. Two guys came into the booth and grabbed me and took me out. I had to. There's no cutscene for that. There's no visual. All you're seeing is who won the last match. But people in the chat going, "Oh my God, what's happening? Who is that? Who are the people? Who are the we? Who are the?" So I got people guessing. So you don't let the game hold you back from painting a picture and making it even better. And we control what's in the game. You set a slider a certain way to make sure
the Lord said he'll abduct you, baby.
I know he'd love to. I won't give him the benefit of the doubt. I won't give him the benefit of doing it. So it's like
man.
We got Morgan popping in. So we're giving a bunch of examples of things that we've done, how we've done them, how we set up our universe. Yes, the next match button is back.
Yes.
Simple pleasures for your boy Blaze. I was like, I don't want people to see match 4 yet, and I don't use OBS, so I can't throw a screen up. I'm just going straight from the game. So the other night I had 6 debuts. And if you looked close enough, you saw who was debuting before I got to that match, because there's no damn next match button. Now we can use that to hide a match later on, have a surprise for you guys.
Oh my God. It gives the show a feeling of you forget that it's a video game because menus don't really become
what
a thing.
would be a really cool thing that they should incorporate, especially for universe mode? They should allow us to have the option to be able to hide the entire card for
just play it
like,
through.
Example, you see match 1 though, a life example, you see match 1 pop up, but you don't see match 2, 3, 4.
Well, that's what next card is going to do for us, essentially.
We got the next match button,
that's essentially what it is.
Because the thing about it with me is this: I have not done anything except for create calls. Though I haven't even made. I'm doing like.
But when they do that,
universe mode or nothing.
We have to take this game and, like I said earlier, morph it into what we want. And this game is not made for AI versus AI. Proof positive, because we have the same problems and glitches from the past
every time
games.
And their updates never address that. You're so right. Their updates never address CPU versus CPU issues. It's always AI versus player or player versus player
for
issues.
Gameplay.
And
I get it. That's number one. Number one is always going to be gameplay. That's their bread and butter. I get it. But
damn it, you're so right. I have cutscenes. I live and die by cutscenes. If you guys, slow the video, I'm like mashing the X button to get past my cutscenes so fast that I don't know what's
going. Telling me what the cutscene is. I can't stand that. They make this game to play it, not to broadcast it. We have more. It's there to do it. It can be done. But if you're not being creative about it, if you're not trying to do something different, you're going to be pigeonholed to what the game gives you. It's not for the last 3 games, I have used universe mode just to line up 9 matches. That's it. No rivalries, no cutscenes, nothing else. I mean, I don't use the ranking system. I used to be so crazy that I would go in every match card. You know how the first 10 people get a bump in their stats?
Yeah.
I would, if they're in that match card, I take them all out. So everyone's even again.
Oh, wow.
I don't do that anymore.
So you're baselining them. Well, you're doing that to control your universe a bit more. Yeah. I understand that completely, because the Lord is supposed to be, my unbeatable guy. And so if I send my best guy at someone and he loses to a rookie, that's supposed to be shocking, right? And if it's not, because the guy loses and like the matches are essentially random, because universe mode has either tanked a guy's stats or buffed another guy's stats, and like that's really a in-depth part of the universe that I add to it, that I love that some people, it's complicated. It is, and that's the learning curve that makes Blaze fire. Like,
Well,
you better, my move set, I've master crafted
you can
now to
always
do
send me
multiple.
a new moveset.
I am. I think I am. I haven't done it yet.
And a lot of places out there. I'm one that I do the 100 overall, but I do the AI personal sliders. There's other people that do 90. They do 85. And like in Solo's universe, if you're more active, you're going to get those boosts. You're going to get more attributes and stuff like that because you're more active, because you're playing along. That is the name of the game. Involvement. The more you're involved, the more your characters. You don't think I have a mental note of who's at my shows? If I haven't seen you for a month, you're getting the backside of the card. If I don't see you for another few weeks, I'm just going to stop using your wrestler because I had people that want in. So, you have different ways that everyone runs it, different ways of setting up the sliders. Solo has set up, this week it's hardcore sliders. This week's it's Japan sliders. This week's it's this type of sliders. And you can affect the game that way and make that type of show. But we are having other issues that you got to overcome.
Yeah, and that's where I struggle, and I like start getting on guys, and we like, because I get frustrated where I spend 2-3 hours mastercrafting my game to make it feel like this because everybody wants to do Japan style wrestling. They're in my comments saying that, right? Yeah. So I set up the game to do that, and you give me hardcore. My character wants to break beers over people's heads.
Sometimes you don't gotta change your move set. I have had the same Blaze McCoy move set since 2K19. Couple of different. If I see a new move, it's cool. It's there, but he's going to have the same major moves, and I will go through. And here's the thing: I'll show my weakness. Blaze skipped leg day. He's all upper body. But if you want to get Blaze, you have moves targeted on the legs. I don't have any, just maybe 1 or 2 kicks. So he's not doing super kicks. He's doing elbows. He's all upper body. So if you target the legs, you're gonna hurt Blaze. I wanted to have a fault. I didn't want to make. I mean, you're trying out there. If you're out there trying to make the perfect character, it ain't gonna happen. There is no perfect
6'10". I can do a backflip and a hurricanrana.
Yeah, there's no perfect move set. There's no perfect sliders, but that affects the game. They are very important. That's the thing.
I'm also a demon from the underrealm that can't die.
Yeah, I can't die. I had one of those before. An immortal person who never dies.
To also add on to the thing about the move sets, and this is something that I forgot to mention, it just came to my mind. Here is something that I do. I'm not sure if many people do this. Here's the thing, guys. When you put your move set together, put your CAW in a few matches.
Yeah, test it.
Take notes. I'm telling you right now, take notes of take notes of what moves your CAW hits more than others. See what works and what doesn't.
And go and change your personal CAW.
Don't mark my words when I tell you this, guys. It is going to take you a good anywhere between, if it works, you'll get it done within an hour. If it doesn't, it can take you anywhere between 5, 6, 7, 8 hours.
And again, that all depends on what universe you want to be in too, though, because I mastercrafted my character for Blaze to have this. My catchphrase was always going to be, I lose better than you win. So I made sure that my AI's combo is the chops. That's all Jay Savage does is chops. But you want it to be your personal AI, your character's personal AI settings have to be kind of skewed towards what you want him to do, or you're gonna have a 300-pound guy doing a springboard because it happens to be in your move set. He happens to be right next to it, and your AI springboard settings are at 80. So of course he's like, "Oh fuck it!"
Yep, they're still gonna do the
he's gonna take off and do it.
Is this?
Here's the
goal, everybody. The goal is not to win every match. The goal is to give your CAW a 50-50 chance of winning every match. And that is the goal. The goal is not to bat 1,000 because
I'll do you one even better. I'll do you one even better because I'm the one, like, I'll be honest about this, buying a ticket to us doing all this stuff. Listen, if you're a talent at one of our shows, your job is to put on a show.
Yes, win or
Period.
lose. Win or
There's
lose.
100 people watching my man's show that are
Win or
watching
lose.
your episode, that are watching your matches. And so
Exactly.
you are, it's
Yeah.
not just you watching you. It's more than 100 something people enjoying your character. And the more that you put on a show for them and not just be like, okay, I want to win. So I got, I'm gonna make a 5,000. Which again, Miguel, I'm only picking on you because I love you, and you set that tone for us as to we know you can win if you do it. If
Yeah.
you do the 5,000 finishers and the fastest frame per second out attack move and the quickest this and the quickest that, yes, you can win. But guess what? Ooh, didn't really put on a great show, did you? You
Yeah.
didn't get
That is
anything for Blaze.
something,
You didn't, no one pressed like. 3 people left the show, as a matter of fact. It becomes a moment where, listen, I'm talking business, and your AI and your ability to do what we're asking you to do, which we sit here for 2 hours and teach you guys, like, hey, there's so much more to this game. Your personal AI settings matter to us because I spend 2 hours to do this. You need to spend at least 45 minutes making sure when we say we don't want big dudes doing springboards unless it's it. Unless that's it.
Yep.
Oh, Yokozuna coming off the top rope with the bonsai drop. Boom,
Yep.
that's a finisher. That's not your mid-match.
Yeah.
Run a move.
Because the thing about it is that I will say this, everybody. To pick up what you said, Solo, I'm gonna tell you this right now. When it comes to me, you've got to be able to show me that your call has some sort of identity. And what I mean by that is that your call can't, no, because here's the thing. Your call can't just be relying on just one move to win matches. That don't work in my favor, though. Because the way that I do things is this, though, because I've told Blaze this before, though. I sit and watch New Japan, Joshi Pro, Stardom.
I bought cable just to watch AEW. That's a fact. That's crazy. And I'm so disappointed.
I'm telling you right now, I sit there and watch, and I learn. And then the thing about it is that watching all of, wrestling and F1, basketball, baseball. That is how I learned my commentary because when it comes to commentary,
I fucking love New Japan.
Because the thing about it is when it comes to commentary, like for example, when I'm doing F1, I could be like, I'll give you guys a little quick showcase real quick and show you what I can do. I can be like, give me a second, let me compose myself. I can be like, and there is Max Verstappen. There he goes. He crosses the line though. He qualifies 4th.
My kids are outside.
Yes. He's at 4th place right now, though. And then let's see how he does going forward with the rest of qualifying. I can start simple, but then when it starts to get intense, that's when I begin to ramp it up. I can begin to ramp it up.
Well, that's it too. It's on like, when you have like a moment
about it, and that's like, and then the thing about it is this: if your call doesn't have an identity, or if your call is just, I won't necessarily say flashy, but if your call is just relying on just one move to get stuff done, unfortunately, that limits what I can and can't do. Because the thing about it is that some of the people that are coming back to Dragon Joshi Pro this season, they want me to make a pure championship, just like how it is in Ring of Honor. I got no problem with that. But the thing about it is that I'm going to have to figure out a couple of things. Number one, I'm going to have to figure out how that would work, what type of, what rules would be in place, and then who also would fit into that.
Shoji.
Yeah, who would fit into that pure division.
And if you do that style of wrestling, do you try and like mimic, like, so me personally, I used to, I announce what my sliders are. I've watched this type of wrestling this week, and I think this is what I want to see on my screen. This is what my viewers want to see.
Yeah.
What's that? Like, do you mastercraft your character to fit the show? Like, you're called Jushin, If you make that show,
So
do you make it more luchador like wrestling chop like are they
what
trading
I
blows with
do,
the Japanese
yeah.
spirit? Japanese
So what I
spirit.
do, Solo, is this: because Dragon Joshi Pro is based off of Japanese wrestling, I try to tune all of my gameplay sliders to mimic Japanese wrestling. So if you've seen how Japanese wrestling is, you can't really, mimic, stiff wrestling with the moves that we have in the game. You can come close, but my goal is to have matches where they're at on the card reach a certain limit. Like for example, if you are opening the show, I try to keep your matches anywhere between 15 to 20, and anywhere between maybe I'll say between 15 minutes.
They
Middle
need
of
a
the card,
banger.
you can go 20, 25, but if you're at the end of the card though,
what I'll do is drama. Like that's it. Like I want people to stick around because like Blaze, you know how I kind of learned this from you. You get people to stick around until the end of the show because they know something's about to happen at the end.
Yeah.
I like to be like, hey yo, everyone sucks. And then, some drama happens in the beginning where you want to stick around to be like, okay, maybe I get my chance to, because right now Miguel Morales is so, and again, another question for you guys. How do you guys deal with someone that like, Blaze, do you ever edit someone's character to make it fit your show? DC, same question.
No, I don't.
Nope.
Now, the thing about
Never
it with
touched
me,
it.
Solo, is
sometimes
this.
you can, depending on the story and
sometimes you
stuff. But
can.
trust me, if I was going to do it, I would have lowered Rex's stats so Totes didn't lose.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing about it is with me,
I want to react to the game. I want to react to what the game
100%.
does. I don't want to know who's going to win. I don't want to know how it's going to come out because that adds to my genuine surprise as the commentator. Like I follow old WCW than WWE. Like Vince would tell his commentators they know everything is going to happen. But back in the old school WCW, they didn't know. So it's a general reaction.
Yeah.
So a lot of my stories and things that happen is organic. I never planned for this to happen, but the chat started doing it, or this happened in a match. I mean,
my bad.
To sum up a lot of things that kind of generalize what we're talking about, uniqueness and realism.
Yeah.
So we want things to be unique and we want it to try to give as much as a real, but no matter how you set up this game, no matter how intricate you get, the game's going to be the game. Just like Bill said earlier, David Ruin, a big monster. No matter how you set him up, he's still going to do a springboard or jump off the ropes, even if you can't. Now, with the sliders that we have for the tendencies, you can kind of help that, like Mordrin said. You can kind of tone it down within the character's tendencies, but the game's still going to be the game. I mean, you still might see shit like that happen.
Because there's no way that you can.
That's my whole game, Blaze, is, trying to control the game.
Like, I'm
still going to do dumb shit. Dumb shit's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
No matter what you do.
And that's why the stats matter too. That's why people's interactions, like someone like H-Dog shouldn't be able to beat the Lord because he's new and has no
35 beat 100 last month. A 35, a manager.
Yeah, I've seen.
Beat
100. I've actually done that before.
Sorry, TJ Toad. I'm working on getting you. I'm working on getting you your revenge in the.
Yeah, seriously.
But he lost. It was odds as manager Harvey Gibson, and we're as a thing. I'm like, I'm gonna throw this 35 out there against TJ, who's everyone's 100. He beat him. He beat him with a default move set. Never touched the move set. 35. So it's like it's gonna happen.
Keep that secret. No.
So you can only control it so far. So I mean, the movesets are important. Everything we're talking about is important. It is catered to that company, though. The way your character is set up. If I put Sunshine Marigold in Dragon Joshi Pro, I'm gonna make her completely different than if I put her in the SSU.
Right.
It's different. Now I know. Right. That's what I mean about communication. If you guys are going to get into a federation and you're only in that federation because you were in their chat once and they downloaded your CAW, you're going to have growing pains. If you watch that federation first, just watch how they operate. then maybe update your CAW and upload it with a different tag at the end for that company. Brandon Ace specifically in the chat. I've seen 14 different Brandon Aces on Community Creation. Each one's towed for a different federation because he knows he wants this guy runs it different than this way. My character should be made a little different. That's fine. Or me, every time I download a CAW, I'm going through it, fine tooth comb. Did they do their personality traits?
But that's where you start getting that stuff. So hey, yo, that's where people start getting a bad reputation. You got 12 calls out there. 10 of them are trash. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
you got it
with me.
You got to be able to lose in this game.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to lose, you're never going to survive.
You got
and so that's where people like, so on the back end, you've got people like who take like you, Blaze, right? So you fine tooth yours, you go through yours. And I think your CAW with its move set will do good in any way. Like any slider I've ever put out there, I've been able to do good with your character. Any slider I've ever had.
But I also don't want to completely change anyone's character because my universe with these 50 different federations, 99 different people, no alts, I want to test your creation in my world. So I will fine tune it a little bit.
I actually have tournaments.
That's but I'm not going to overhaul your character completely.
No.
Some people do.
Blaze definitely. I've always said that too. Because Blaze is kind of it's the testing ground for real. Like it is the testing ground.
You're up against different levels of engagement. People that just, I always say that there's the people that are really involved. They're going to mastercraft their moveset. They're going to go through their whole moveset. They're going to have a unique look. They're going to really get into character in the chat.
And that's why I was happy about the G6 championship because the whole season few thing really synergized like what goes on with yours, what goes on with mine. And it proved that master crafting is kind of a thing. It's kind of a thing.
The main reason
there's people in the middle that are just happy to be there. They don't care what you do with their character. And then there's the bottom rung people, which I love as well, but you got to hold their hand. You got to explain to them 55 times. You can't do that. Quit saying that. Your character's a good guy, not a bad guy. What that's not a promo. That's you just typing 18 sentences.
Oh my God.
Period.
Going back to the whole thing about identity, that's the thing, though. You got to have that identity. And the thing about it with me is this, though. When it comes to me, if there's anybody out there who, if there's anybody out there who is having trouble with movesets
or spelling,
and you need some help,
community, reach out.
Come to me. I'll even do you one better.
Yes.
I will even do you one better. If you give me permission, I will work on your moveset myself. Let me know what it is you want the moveset. I will put together a moveset for you.
I've done live streams. I'll do live streams where when I start doing creations,
I will test it
I'll
out.
I'll bring you on and we'll create you live.
I just saw you guys doing that. Totes and them were doing that. I'm not gonna lie. I like to hide the little things. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll hide it because I'll be honest, my people get a little emotional. Again, everyone acts different. I'm not gonna say my people. They act different in the SSU because of the interactions with the show. So with Miguel right now, he's very upset. And I almost ended my whole show because he likes to come in there and be like, hey, why didn't I beat this guy? I should be able to beat him right now. And I'm like, let me go in there and show you. Like, do you want to find out that your character's rated higher than the dude that just beat you? Like, it's a moment in time where you're not winning the match, and now you've just made it worse. You compelled it by getting in the comments and not doing good. So, guys, listen.
I brought these two guys on for a reason, as you guys have seen in the past hour. They know what they're talking about. They're always here to help. But this is a community. It truly is. You can find someone to help create your character. You can find someone to create it for you. You can find someone to help you fine tune your moveset. You can find someone that can help you give yourself a gimmick and an identity and a history.
Andrew Dubs can create you the worst outfit you've ever had. It'll be the worst.
DMs are wide open. We're here to help.
Yes,
so let me do a little recap here of the summit. Here's how we started. We started with Totes from his WCW, which is evolving and changing. We started with Triple Beat, who has 3 different brands. Riley, who does his gambling and wrestling in 2 different types, and he's used old games, new games, etc. That was a blast. Make sure you guys check out Triple Beat and his stuff. I'm going to have Triple Beat and Totes back on another show here soon. I'm going to try to bring everyone back for at least 2 summits. Totes as well. The second summit was Crushing Kelly. So we got a female perspective. She has more supernatural stuff in her universe. So we
She's
got
cool
to
as
dabble in
hell.
that a little
she's
bit.
cool.
Very
She's
cool.
cool.
Odds is my
Love Kelly.
genius when it comes to remembering all the stuff.
That's
We're
really
going to put
nice.
him to the test next week. Sean is mixing real
Matic.
life wrestlers with created characters and monsters. It's always fun. So check out Monstar Entertainment doing his live shows against all odds. And they also do the My GM with those guys too, which is always fun. And Crushing Kelly and BMWF. Last week, we got together and talked about creating your character, developing your character with some really strong personalities. I think that's why my voice is still off from last week.
That was awesome.
So,
Yeah,
that was a dog pile, but that was awesome to hear
that
you
one
guys
last Sunday
coordinate.
was amazing.
Grand Prix in the chat. Chance was representing them. Make sure you check out GPW. It's amazing stuff there. Grinder Gang is Chance's channel. We got Cougar Knight, who's been doing promos and EFED stuff for decades. That's why I wanted her take on stuff too. Cougar's still involved in W and other stuff too. She's representing Elfie's Elite Extreme Women. Count does tag teams for WPW, which is Goddess's show. Goddess runs an off the chain. You know, it's kind of funny because I said Wild Wild West that Solo runs. Goddess is like the female version of the Wild Wild West. She is out there. Whips, chains, beatings, the you know, you got the creepy basement. It's all there. It's all freaky deaky. It's fun. Icon Sports, my man Rick Race, one of my first friends here on YouTube. Good to see you. Jaden as well. So check out Hell's Gate, which is Mrs. U-Taker as well. Today we dipped into Movesets a little bit. Just the idea. I mean, me and these two could talk for 11 hours about the game and Movesets. We're all talkers, and you got to be a talker if you're going to be a commentator and a creator like this. Solo season universe and Dragon Joshi Pro. The links are in the comments. I mean, in the description of this show. Make sure to check both of them out. They're doing fabulous stuff. I'm not just blowing smoke up their ass because they're here. I wouldn't have invited them on here if they didn't know what they were doing. And if I wasn't learning from them, I want to learn from other people, man. I learned from people in the chat today. I'm learning from you guys. Check out Solo season. You won't be disappointed. It is off the chain, off the hook. Wild Wild West of digital wrestling. I love it. It's always fun. It's always entertaining. DC Gaming Network, check out Twitch. We talked about how he structures his show and everything, and his commentary is off the chain. It's one of the reasons why I started is I've listened to Pete Wall and his crazy commentary. Then I saw Twitch losing his shit during shows, and it's fucking phenomenal. Pardon my French. To see someone get so passionate when they're calling matches that I want. It's like Solo said earlier. When
I throw my voice out every single time I go live, just to to tell you something.
Solo said this earlier, and this is how every content creator should be. Seeing you guys makes me want to do better, makes me want to step up my game. And that's the way it should be. We all have our egos. Please. We all have we think we're the better at this or best at this, or this is our prime thing. We should all think that our universe is the best because we're doing it our way. That's not knocking anybody else. We're bringing 50 different EFEDs together. There's no wrong way to do it.
Nope.
But if
I'm
you
the
don't
best
think
apple, you're the best orange.
If you don't think, I said this acronym last year, this saying, and I saw the video. Apple trees do not eat apples. Pear trees do not eat pears. They only use the water to grow. Your gift is not for you. It's to give to other people. Your fruit that you are creating is to give to other people. That's what this community is all about. My old podcast was called WrestleSense. When we covered WWE and AEW every week, it was about wrestling. Your WrestleSense is your opinion. Cheer who you want to cheer, boo who you want to boo. You know, like who you want to like, hate who you want to hate. There's no wrong way about it. Same thing with this game. We are role-playing. Those that have played Dungeons and Dragons before, they catch on really quick. Because they know how to be a character and how to take a hit, like how to lose and make a story out of losing. You know, that's what we're trying to do. Jaden with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, my friend. So next week, here's where we're going to get a little crazy. I don't know about, I'm not a gamer. I don't know about all these games, right? However,
man, it's about to be fun.
Odds knows a lot. He's I've quizzed him a bunch of times. He knows the last time they had an ambulance match, the last time women bled, the last time this, the last time that, the first time this. 15 years ago, he'll tell you about the video game. But Riley said he knows a lot too. So next week, we're going to put him to the test. You guys in the chat, come up with questions. We got 5 chat choice questions. 5 of them will be based on the games. What game is this? It had this, this, and this. And then odds, he'll have a turn. Riley will have a turn. Match type. When's the last time or the first time this match type showed up in a video game?
What?
When's the first time Hell in a Cell showed up in a video game? Something like that.
That's good business.
Features. When did War Games come on? Which game was War Games first?
We did just talk about N64 in the first game that had Create a Wrestler.
Oh,
when was this? So, and then the chat, you guys will have questions as well. So here's what I'm putting you all to task. You got all week to send me questions in my DMs, Discord, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, anywhere you want. Send me questions that you think will be good. Triple Beat is working with me in the behind the scenes to come up with a bunch of questions because, you know, he knows odds very well. He knows Riley. We're going to try to stump him. I want you guys to do the same thing in the chat. Write down some questions. We got the chat choice category as well. We're going to go through all of them. Each person only gets one choice. We'll go back and forth. We'll see who has more money at the end. It's all for fun. I know I'm going to learn a lot. I'm just going to be the damn host.
Same way.
This is the one episode of Jeopardy I actually might want to record. You know what I mean?
I definitely want to be.
Shout out to Odds for Riley for creating the cause and an old game so I can put it here. That's Odds Cornett, Riley Wolf. They're going to go head to head next week. It's going to be so much fun. Send me your questions. Send me your questions in DM.
Hold on. What game do you guys think that he used to create those? What is that?
Oh,
is that, you know what I mean? What is that? Is that 2002?
Yeah, like
that might be the first question. I think it's a SmackDown versus Raw game, or I forget which one it is. But
that might be 2002.
Don't say nothing, please.
Man, I'm telling you what.
There's your first. Here you go. It's from 2K14. There you go.
Is it really? Is it really?
Riley's actually he did a show last week with 4 different wrestling games. He used 2K20. He used 19, 14, 23, and 24. I think he used 4 different video games in one CAW show because he has OBS. So he switched in between. So as he was doing that, I was like, hey, can you create me these 2 so I can have them behind their little thing?
Hey, that's dope. You know what I'm like multiverse type
That's
stuff?
What he did. That's exactly what he did.
Someone dropped that link in the chat. Oh,
yeah, he had two like 3 or 4 matches that were in this game, and then he went to a different game and
that's crazy. And it would be cool though if it was the same character in the new game,
for some of them it was.
Oh my god, that's so cool. That reminds me of Doctor Strange or Dragon Ball Z when he was fighting Broly, you know.
I think it was it the Butterfly Effect or was it Days of Future Past? I think it Days of Future Past. It was this one where he mixed 4 different video games. Here it is. It's 2K24, SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, WWE 12, and WWF No Mercy. He used those 4 games to create this live stream.
Dude, No Mercy was one of my favorite.
It was so dope because, you know, he had to go back and create some people for some of the old ones. There's a link in the chat. But we'll bring those on and do some Jeopardy next week. I know not to play the Jeopardy song because it'll get me copyrighted. I already tried it once.
Don't do that. Yeah,
I did it on the first time I promoted it, and I was like, oh shit. No, don't send them here, prime time. Put them in my DMs.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Me questions. All right, 2K25 just came out the other day.
Boom! I
did my 10 hours of streaming.
Oh my goodness, man! I got a lot.
My biggest bitch is that there is so much locked behind Faction, My Rise, and Showcase. More than we've seen in the last 5 games.
Oh god, don't get me started.
Now here, shout out to my man Chance. He's currently on my login somewhere in the Midwest. He's going through My Rise and Showcase for me to unlock everything, and then I'll download the data. So the My Faction thing, Now, here's the one thing that we all got to play along with. You can't put island shit on your CAW because you got to create your
cannot.
own.
Right.
You
Right.
got to create your own little CAW
Bro,
for
and
island.
even worse than that, I can't wait because at some point they're going to allow it, and it's going to force the like. I don't think it would be a bad thing to be like, oh, I've got a $30 T-shirt on my CAW in the E Federation, right? I think that would be cool, but at the same time, don't make me pay for it.
Yeah, no, if
You know what
I've
I mean?
always said, yes, 130 is too much to pay for this game. But if there was a $160 model and it unlocked everything, I'm buying it. I will pay 30 extra bucks because I got to cater to 99 different people. And some of them, now we got the split community creation. So that,
but also I feel like
creations, we got the whole thing with the island.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing with split community creations. We just had that like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
We just got cross-gen. So it's not, to me, here's the way I'm looking at it. This is opening up the sandbox. As soon as the old gen goes away, and people are telling me too, because I'm not a gamer, it's weird that they're still making this for PlayStation 4. Well, you know, other games, they don't make them for the old gen anymore. So it's like,
it's because the community's so good at keeping these games alive. We were just excited about a guy who mixed 4 generations of games together because we're just into it like that.
And of course,
and they
there's
know it.
It's a money the mods on PC and the stuff that what's the status went through last year and everything. That's why I'm pretty sure PC.
The status thing was crazy.
The PC stuff was causing a lot of issues. I mean, they were causing issues because it was cool to have fight in Walmart or outside of Walmart, and all, shit like that. The game doesn't give us creators that stuff, but I understand it from a business perspective.
Right.
Just think about this, guys. We have the island. What if in 3 years we have an E-Fed island?
Ooh.
Oh, that would be fire.
We control it all. It's like AI versus AI, but I can say this character is walking into this arena, waiting for his match. Now he's going to train. Now he's going over here.
It's essentially my faction.
Story mode.
With,
story mode. So, and from what the Brian Williams interviews were a couple weeks ago, here's what I took out of it. They want to do a lot more, but can't because of the hardware in old gen.
Yeah.
Now, PC is a crapshoot. You're going to have 10 people that are going to say, dude, my PC is 10 times more powerful than a PlayStation 5. It should be next gen. But then you have people that are on PCs from 10 years ago that are obsolete. They can't handle what they want to do. So I'm happy that we're getting this change. This is the sign for good. And it's bad now because now we got to put up with having separate. You got to create your guy twice. I'm going to create Blaze right on a stream. If you have old gen and you want him, watch the video and recreate him.
But there you go. But then you also have this moment where now that it's coming to the new gen, the AI is going to be better. So much better.
Way better. Good, Twitch.
Because the thing is, Solo and Blaze, from what I saw on Twitter, someone had actually posted a little side-by-side where but someone posted a side-by-side. I don't remember who the person was. They posted a side-by-side of the most downloaded thing on PS4 and the most downloaded thing on current gen. It is night and day, dude.
Yeah,
it's night and day.
It's two different worlds, but I mean,
it's night and
listen,
day.
How did I start this show off with? We have to morph this game to what we want it to be. We've been doing workarounds since 19 or 18 when we started and the YouTube stuff started to blow up. This is nothing new. We just got to find workarounds. I'm more frustrated that I did buy a PlayStation 5 and now my whole audio system doesn't work with it. So it's like, it's a give or take. We pay for more, but and they're going to make more off the island. So why isn't the game only $50 instead of 130? Eventually, maybe it will be.
And that's where I think they should make My Universe a separate game, right?
It might end up being something like, and I mean, here's the deal: the island is wrestling Fortnite. That's what they wanted to do.
That's all it is, bro.
Wanted to create open world, GTA, Fortnite, combine it. I played the island for like 10 minutes the first night. It took me 5 minutes to log in. I walked around.
Oh God.
And here's the thing.
You managed to get in 5 minutes though. I was literally sitting there for like almost a half hour.
It's literally a visual paradise. It looks incredible. But then I went into the arcade of tomorrow, looked around. You couldn't even play the arcade machines. Then when I left that area, it had to reload.
Yeah, it had to reload
to get
again,
back to the main part, and it was 15 minutes. I gave up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
But
did that because so that's for server stability. So it's like instead of everyone being able to load it, like so I know they're doing little dirty tricks like that where I know what comes next. The VC trick is about to happen where if the only thing that's going to save us in the future when it goes to next gen, especially as content creators, right? And where I already know it, they're going to start allowing those pieces in my universe mode, right? Because people are going to want it. They're going to want their Jordan. They're going to want their $20 special Jordan shoes on play mode.
And
because the moment the internet goes out and you can't use your $20 item, you're going to be pissed, right? And so they're going to figure out a way to get it, but it's going to be a problem for us because unless they figure out a way to get those $20 Jordans, like we can't edit the character when we get it. But or something, but I have a bad feeling about the My Island VC currency. Like everyone's gonna be wanting to get a special item and make their character look different and look separate and have the piece no one else has. I already want a piece.
Because some of the things that I see locked in my faction, I get it's tied to a character. But there's a shirt that says Hulk rules. I can upload a logo that says Hulk rules and put it on a shirt. I now have that shirt.
And I'm going to tell you, that's where the backlash is going to come from. That's where the backlash is going to come from. That's where they're going to shut it down. The moment they see the Rhea Ripley t-shirt posted up for free, they did it with the Macho Man Slim Jim. When the Slim Jim Macho Man came up, there was a guy who uploaded a version of it, and the same thing with What's the Status, and all the guys who get a little pressure put on them because they're taking money.
If you're mad that Brock Lesnar's not in the game, go to communications. There's a fucking Brock Lesnar there. If you're mad that Joe Hendry's not in the game, go get your Joe Hendry off of, you might have to check the moveset and stuff. But here's my issue is that we're missing things that we've already had. Why can't we have a regular match, have it go backstage through the hallway, throw them into the electrical box, and then go out? Why aren't our backstages connected? That's what I'm talking
that's
about
the same. Well, it's the same reason you talked about in the My Island when you leave a store, right? It's about it's about the stability of the game. Back in the day,
PlayStation 5 should be able to handle that now.
I mean,
absolutely.
We're making a game for a console that's 15 years old. How old's the 4? It's old.
Oh yeah.
I mean the 5 is 5 years old now. So it's like I understand where these changes this year are a sign for good things in the future for creation people. We got it. We got AI moveset stuff tendencies now. That's the first real AI improvement we've seen in a while.
Crazy.
We have, the underground match, the blood. We have new match types. I still want to be able to edit the War Games arena, but you can't ask for everything. But I wanted the next match button and it's here. I'm happy. We got new weapons. We got new weapons. We've heard about the creation suite. Create an arena is pretty much the same.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same. So it's basically, and when I say this, it's not that I'm shitting on the game. The game is phenomenal. The characters, the actual cause, look incredible in 25.
Yeah. No, because the thing about it was, Blaze, because the thing about it was, Blaze, was that when I first made one of my girls, I literally had to go into the body texture and I literally had to look at everything.
Yeah, we can't morph bodies anymore. We used to be able to do body morphing.
And that is something that they need to bring back. I have been wanting.
Here's the thing. I'm a benefit of a doubt type of person. I truly think, here's an instance. You used to be able to take a custom logo and pattern it on the barricade. I can put whatever I want on the barricade. You can't do it last year. Brian Williams confirmed it on the interviews. That was causing problems. If I have a reason why we can't do it, I'm cool. I'm cool with it.
Right.
What's the reason we can't go into the backstage area again?
Right,
I don't know.
Right.
Now
Is it the loading time? Is it like you guys think that we don't want? I'll wait the 30, 45 seconds for the screen to load.
I would gladly sit there and wait 30 seconds,
I'll straight up wait for that.
Especially if we're streaming. And it's like, we got to wait for it to load though, man, bro.
What do you mean? Hit the like, hit the share, hit the comment. Like, what do you mean?
Start promoting.
We can kind of use that, to talk about what's coming up next,
Now,
though, what
for
we got
me,
planned, sort of thing,
for me here,
I
because I use nothing but created characters, the DLCs and the game and the
Oh,
actual roster in
God,
the
I
game
was-
don't mean shit to me. It doesn't mean shit, but here's what it means: gear parts, moves, stuff like
Yes,
that. So when I
yes.
see a DLC, I don't give a shit if it's Penta, but I want
Yeah.
his fucking moves. I
Yeah.
don't care if it's the Great Khali, but I want the Khali chop. Something like that.
Right, right,
So
right.
let's
Hopefully
look
they
at the
give us
DL.
Penta's Mexican Destroyer.
Yeah, well, here's the
Hopefully we
DLCs
get
we're
that.
getting this year. We got Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Julia, and Stephanie Vacker on the first one. Special celebrity guests. I'm pretty sure the celebrity guests are going to be iShow Speed and Travis Scott.
Bro, listen, not to be
Dang it, man.
the
I
bearer
don't
of
even
bad
want to talk
news,
about that crap,
but
man.
listen, the community creations, we were just talking about the community, bro. The Stephanie Vacour is about to be abused, bro.
Yes.
That move set is
Julia.
about to be abused. Brock
honestly.
Lesnar.
So here's the thing, though. I gotta stop thinking about cost, stop thinking about digital wrestling, and think about the business of the video game. They're trying to reach different audiences.
Oh, yeah.
They've brought in Logan Paul. They bring in. I mean, go back to WrestleMania 1, 2, and 3. There were
Yeah.
celebrities
Yeah.
since the
Mr. T
beginning
and,
of wrestling time. There is an actual wing in the Hall of Fame for celebrities. So
Yeah.
do not. I mean, if you want to get upset about it, that's your preference. But it's useless. No. Here's another thing. What if the special celebrity guest is Joe Hendry?
No, it's probably. I mean,
it's going to be. It could be KSI.
That would be
fire. They could
Travis.
drop Henry. They could.
Travis already has a model that he did for
Travis is
Fortnite.
in the biggest. He's in the biggest angle right now in the company, so I'm pretty sure we're going to get a Travis Scott in it now.
Because people have been wanting Joe Hendry in the game, though. So.
But it may be. See, I'm a benefit of a doubt person. I think there was something with the TNA that they just couldn't do a TNA pack because of rights and legal shit. Let's just leave it.
Because they don't have Jordan in here yet, right?
Yeah,
they don't have the Jordan Grace in here, so that pans out.
This one's getting a lot of people pissed off. Tote said it's crap. I heard it. I seen it. But here's the thing.
Look, he's in there. He's in there. He's in there.
I would love
those NBA stars happens to be Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, here's the thing. Here's my perspective on this. Number one, would I like 3 wrestlers instead of the NBA stars? Sure. But here's the thing. We got My City and NBA 2K. We got My Island and WWE2K. 2K, NBA, WWE.
Cross-branding.
They're doing it for a reason.
Basically,
They're trying to reach a wider audience. These NBA stars, they're not for us. They're for the kids that are going to play it, the NBA City players that maybe want to dive into this game.
As a purist of this, right? Because we did things for Kurt Angle, right? We put Kurt Angle through hell. The "you suck" situation where he was an actual Olympic hero. We did not like him because he was messing with the brand. Logan Paul, all these superstars that are coming in now, they have to go through a hazing process for us to even like them. It's such a spit in the face to me as a fan to just be like, oh yeah, by the way, we didn't give any of the local dudes that we have contracts with a chance. We're going to give it to 3 dudes who are going to bank out because Fortnite. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that makes me so mad, and it lets me know.
Here's my philosophy. We've seen Tyrese Halliburton on WWE TV when they were in Indianapolis. He plays with the Pacers. We saw Jalen Brunson from the Knicks on TV. They don't show people in the audience unless there's some kind of agreement to some extent.
We had Drake.
Yeah,
Drake was at the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah,
what are we doing? Are we getting a Drake?
But listen, here's the thing, though. They didn't even did they show the name tag Drake and
no, they did not.
No,
they did not.
The other ones they have. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get Halliburton. We're going to get 3 NBA stars. Who cares?
So mad about
just
that.
Just like when they did the McAfee pack last year, people were mad about it. It's about money. It's about money. It's about contracts. It's about widening the audience.
I'm a big because it all started with the Drew Carey situation. Drew Carey at the Royal Rumble, he eliminated himself.
Well, they had Liberace on way back in the day and stuff. Here's what we should be talking about. Abyss is in the game.
Oh hell yeah!
The rumor is he's coming with thumbtacks.
Oh,
now I go back to
we
go back to Brian.
Now listen,
in the Brian Williams interview, someone actually brought up thumbtacks. He said, It's in the plans, but not this time. So I'm if it happens, it's
Oh,
great.
you're talking about as a weapon. Oh,
Yes.
Yo,
So
that would be crazy.
And Janice, his baseball bat that's spiked is supposed to come with it too. That's a rumor. If we get it good, if not, we already have a barbed wire baseball bat. I mean, close enough.
Yeah, we do.
Tax, but here's my thing. They have an arm now, a mannequin arm. You can give the mannequin arm the same movements as the shovel or the kendo. When you talk about tax, that's all new actions.
Well, yeah, and your character has to react to it too.
To how the broken glass is backstage, I think.
Yeah, there is glass backstage.
Yeah,
there's a pane of glass.
I think that with the thumbtacks is going to be something similar to the broken glass sort of thing. But
I don't want to dwell too much on it because right now it's just a rumor. If we get it,
but I almost guarantee it's going to be a solid animation. It's not going to be one of those things where we get it like it's going to be like you throw it down and the whole animation is going to be in one thing.
Instead of just bitching about the celebrities and the NBA stars, we're getting really good DLC. So let's
now there is one thing. Now there's one thing that I want to bring up, Blaze, before you continue. If we are getting thumbtacks in 2K,
it's just a rumor.
Yeah, it's a rumor.
I don't think it's happening.
I honestly think, because it definitely won't happen with this game, but I think next year, even if we don't get the thumbtacks this year, next year,
we need a fire extinguisher first.
Hell no. Who knows?
Where's the fire extinguisher?
Hold on. Just hear me out for a second. I think that if they give us those thumbtacks, 2K needs to take a page from the AEW game where the wrestlers were bleeding from their back.
Well, okay, let me talk about that. Brian Williams, he talked about that. He said body bleeding is on the way. Arms bleeding.
Let's go.
He confirmed it. He said same thing this year. He said this year we added the women bleeding. He said, but body bleeding. And think about it. How often do you see someone's arm got cut during a match? Someone's thigh got cut.
They also incorporated in the game, though. I'm not sure if you've noticed it yet, Blaze, but if you look at
body damage,
the bruising,
they get bruised now. Yep, it's phenomenal.
Like, wow,
I was watching
it's detailed and everything. I was like, man.
But here's one thing we got to take about from these DLCs. Last year they patched in the WrestleMania 40 arena, and they patched in the apple when they gave us Carlito. They patched in a football. So here's the thing. Man, this year was not 25 was not supposed to have the women's IC or US title. They got them in right at the last second. So that proves they can add things on a whim or through a DLC. New Jack, we're finally getting New Jack. That's amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All four of these are great. I don't care who.
And if we're talking about thumbtacks, we're talking about blood and body and stuff. New Jack, you know what I'm saying, is that guy to talk about. But I'm going to say this. You know me, Blaze. All of this stuff makes me so afraid for what community creations is going to look like when we go and upload it, right? It's going to be, I'm just saying, I love to bring it up, but it's just the body bleeding for the women is going to be so exploited. I'm so afraid what the community is about to become. You know what I mean?
The thing about it, though, is, Solo, the fact you brought that up, though,
hold on.
That right there actually ties in to us as Fed owners, because the thing about it is you are talking about the body bleeding. You're right. Yeah. Let's just say, for example, right, when it comes to Blaze, right, body bleeding happens to one of the calls on his show. Blaze can turn that into something for his next show. So and so on his show, internal injuries.
Trust me. See, Totes and Rex had a fight, and Rex was wearing an eye patch to make fun of Totes because they look similar. So I had this angle with him. When Totes finally beat Rex, all I did was say at the end of the match that Totes ripped off Rex's eye patch and ripped his face. On the next show, I went into Rex's CAW. I put 3 big claw marks and a big bruise on his eye. So it looked like he literally ripped half of Rex's face.
Which is that's not respected enough. That's never respected enough. And so when people, I say this all the time to Totes, we talked about apples and oranges and blah, blah, blah. If I'm the guy who's kind of the underground guy who likes to do controversy or whatever, if I'm selling apples and someone else is selling poison apples that look just like my apples, it hurts my business.
So in community creations, they took something away. There is now most recent is gone. So if you go, So if you go to look for images, you can only look at most uploaded.
Are you serious?
Where is your bike?
And
that
the
must have just
reason
happened.
the reason I'm getting is because remember last year you go in and you see porn right away on most recent.
Oh yeah.
Bro,
So-
come on. Don't act like you haven't seen it
You
already. That's why I call
nakedness. It's crazy. It's
I
crazy.
call it. Listen,
Yo, the
I'm
fact
taking
that people were able to
screenshots.
upload that stuff
I-
on CC
I
last
take
year, that was
screenshots
the
of those
wildest
guys.
stuff. That was wild.
Anybody who's streaming that stuff live, I'll take screenshots and you'll see it as a thumbnail for Solo Seasons episodes. If you guys ever see creepy thumbnails, go look at who's. Listen,
Most
I'm not
downloaded,
with
most
it. I'm
uploaded.
not with it.
Exactly. Exactly
But
what
we
you
don't
said.
need to discuss. We don't need to discuss that. I'm just saying
Yeah.
the weird part is most recent is gone.
we
It's gone from Community Creations. Now, hopefully, it's something that they can fix or bring back. But if they have a good enough reason, because 4 months from now, I want to go into most recent to find which one. Now you just got to look at the upload date to find out which call. Because if someone has done 4 updates, I want their most recent one. So let's just get through the rest of this here. We got a lot of D'Lo Brown. Billy Gunn is a weird one because he's still contracted with AEW, but they still have the rights to the name Billy Gunn. Victoria and Mark Henry. And then here's the one a lot of old school guys are talking about, and this is a brilliant one. Yes. I mean, I'm thinking about now the actual cause. I don't care. Mr. Wonderful and Tito didn't have any gear. They just had tights. But I'm thinking Movesets.
Let's go.
Junkyard Dog type stuff.
Is the Movesets.
Sid Vicious type stuff. Maybe their entrance is a cool entrance we'll use. So
that's
the way I look at DLCs when we're coming into talking about CAW. So all in all, it's a really good DLC season.
Yeah, it's solid. Yeah, it's solid.
Because you got new stuff, you got old school stuff, you got guys that are just come in the company like Penta, Julia, Stephanie. You have Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, which I'm sure their moves are going to be great. Hopefully they have some tag team moves attached to them and stuff like that. I do like the sub tag teams we have in 25. You can set up a faction of 5. And then normally, if that faction's called the Bloodline, but you want the Usos, you can't have the tag team called the Usos if they're in the Bloodline. Now you have a 5-man faction and you have a 2-man tag team that you can name something different underneath it. That's a huge
in the categories and stuff.
Love that. Well, I mean,
now there is one other thing that I wanted to bring up, Blaze.
Okay.
These special celebrity guests, especially for the NBA stars. Now, I'm not saying this will happen. But what if those NBA stars, they come with, those NBA stars that we can download, what if they come with, like brand name shoes, but that we don't have to go through the island to get?
I know you're going to you might get a basketball. We got a football last year. Who knows?
Yeah. So
I love the football. The football had a good animation, like a good throwing animation. Spiral was tight.
The one thing that is weird to me as with a computer background like me and an Excel and stuff like that, it baffles me that if you go into your custom images, you can't organize them. You should be able to. That's an Excel spreadsheet.
Oh man, come on! You should
be able to organize them. You should have subfolders you can put them in. That's
because now what happens? Yeah, because now what happens now with it is that any images that you download, they will automatically fill up a spot, because the way that they set it up, just like they did last year, is that let's say for example, you go to your image deleter and you delete, like 5 images, and you download 5 more images. Those 5 images will literally just fill in the spots from those 5 images.
There's no rhyme or reason. It's ridiculous.
There's no organization to it. And it takes us 6 hours to do different things that should only take us 3 because we're going through menus. Some things aren't accessible. And so, we're complaining about little stuff, but we did get the next match button. So
just like the improvements we got are more than, yes, I said this is basically 2K24.2. Which it is. Yeah. You got a couple more new. If you go into the sliders, they're all pretty much the same. You go into,
I will say,
it's pretty much the same.
I don't know about you guys. Exactly did you feel the same way about the last, right before 2K25 dropped? I feel like 2K24 was different all of a sudden. The animation, I don't know. It really does seem like you're right about that. It's only 2K. It was 20. the game is playing different because I'm still streaming off of 24 right now, and so the game
Same
plays
here.
different. It seems different. So I think Blaze just cracked the code on that. I think they sold us a lemon, and I think that we got a update. We paid $130 for an update.
Yeah,
That's what we
yeah.
did. On my
And then a
mama,
whole lot of
that's how I
people
feel.
are,
And
and
the
the thing about it is, like, a whole lot of people are already calling 2K25, 2K20
20,
2.0
yeah, I've
something.
seen that. But I mean,
Yeah,
here's the
2K20
thing with
2.0.
us,
So
it's a lot worse for us. As a kid that just plays the game, he's just going to create his call and start playing. For us,
Right,
we
right.
yeah,
have there's a lull. There's a big lull when a new game comes out because we're all basically, for the most part, except for a couple moves and maybe something new on the gear, I'm creating the same fucking character I did since 19.
Yeah,
exactly.
You
or
know, and when
before
I
that.
go into and when I go into create an arena, I want generic Trons and stuff, and we don't have very many. I'm just lucky we have the gold,
Yeah,
red,
yeah.
green, because I don't want to see WWE stuff on my shit. But it is
Yeah,
what it is.
it's like
We'll
going to a
work around.
play. It's like when you go to a play, you
But
want to close the curtains, you turn the lights off, and you
yeah,
set the mood, man.
out of these new features that we have here, the backstage areas, bloodline rules, intergender, underground, chain wrestling, assigning a specific weapon, third person camera, ladder match updates where they do their finisher and stuff off the ladder, the barricade dives we got now, moveset settings, promos back in universe, women's bleed, and guest ref improvements. We'll start with you, Twitch. Which one are you like most excited about out of
For,
these new features?
for me, honestly, it's the fact of that the women can now bleed.
Mm-hmm.
Because what that does, no, because what that does is that it now adds another layer to my show.
Oh
It
yeah,
now,
for your girl, for your main girl. That's crazy. That is
yeah,
good. That is good.
but not just for my main girl, just the show in general, though. Because the thing about it is, some people who have been in my fed, they've been asking me to bring back the hardcore championship. So I could quite possibly do that now.
Yeah. So I mean, we're gonna
I
do
like
our
that.
workarounds. We're gonna do our best to make improvements and stuff. What about you, Solo? Anything you want to point out from the list that you're excited about?
So barricade interactions, what do they mean? Right? We kind of already
So
have, you
so
know,
from what I've seen, looking at the move sets, you can now do like
Well, they
you
could
can now
they could
do
walk
like
on the barricade.
yeah, you can now walk on the
oh,
barricade.
but
You can
even
Walk
then
on the
that's so
you can
weird
move
barricade.
off
though.
the barricade as well.
But there are moves. So I have a cut scene right now, right?
Uh-huh.
I have a cut scene right now of Mr. Galaxy doing a Superman punch in 2K24 off of the
The apron.
what do you call it there? The
Barricade.
storage crate, the
Oh,
equipment
okay.
Storage
crate in
crate.
the
Yeah.
backstage. He jumped off of it 1 foot, and it was so deliberate. It was clearly he 1 footed off of it, and Superman punched. It was during a play test. I'll post it afterwards. So that's where I
So,
was like, did we
Uh,
always have that, right?
well, a
Or
little
do we?
more too. If you watch the underground match, there's no
Yeah.
ropes. So and when they go to the edge, they will do a barricade jump off of the and there's that's part of the moves that were used for the barricade are also used in that underground match.
Okay,
Um,
so you guys are clearing that up. See, that's why I wanted. Okay, so that's
yeah.
not
So
okay.
I saw
Now that's
people
yeah,
play testing it and they would
yeah.
jump, they both jumped on the barricade and they were chasing each other around, walking on top of the barricade. And then they would stop.
Okay.
They would stop and pose, and then they could do different
Oh,
moves. They
that's
could do
awesome.
different
Okay,
moves
so
off
that's
the
what we're talking about. Okay, so other than that, man, when it comes to the uh movement settings for AI, clearly that's everything for me. But my big thing, another thing I'm curious about is what they mean by the third person camera.
So as the
so
player's coming out, you press triangle and a camera goes behind them. And you can
And
yeah,
so
watch
it
them
is
walk
kind of
down to the ring.
and you can
and
kind of
so
just
it
move
is
it around and stuff.
it's like Call of Duty, right? It's like over the
Yeah,
top
third person.
shoulder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. And I'm
if you watch Jey Uso or anybody come through the back now and how they on Raw or SmackDown and they have the
yeah.
camera right behind them and follow them, that's what it
Oh,
is.
okay. That's what they're talking about. Oh,
Yep.
that's good stuff. And I hope
So
that they do, you know. Yeah.
Solo, for someone who loves using the free camera and does it phenomenally, zooming in or going around to the corner, this adds another dimension when you're scanning through
Right. And
third
that's why
person.
I was so curious as to
It'll
like so now my zoom in moments may not be so technically fucking I hate it sometimes because I'll miss the spot, but now I
yeah.
can go third person in to where they're at. And so
So
that's
while
for
they're
me.
fighting, if you hit the
Yes.
triangle, it'll hone
Yes.
in on that one person, and the camera will follow them around. It's an isolated camera, basically.
I cannot wait for that.
So
You
it's
guys explain
very cool.
those two things together. You hear me jumping up on the barricade and then having a good camera. You know what I'm saying?
You can do all kinds of shit.
For me, that's what I'm most excited about, to
So
highlight moments, highlight
we got a
moments.
lot of new stuff, but a lot of the stuff is the same as we've had. It's okay, because our job as content creators for this game in eFed world is to morph the game to what we want. There's going to be things like, for instance, the last 2 years, I didn't want to do Hell in a Cell and I didn't want to do ladder matches because I got sick of, number one, they didn't know how to get back into the ring on a cell. They would roam around. I've seen hour and a half cell matches. So unless you have KO on, Cell was a bitch. Ladder matches. How many? Until I saw this, I stopped using it. Someone would go up, unhook most of it, and come down. The next guy comes up. Instead of just unhooking it, he's jumping off the ladder 4 times to do a move. But now the ladder animation restarts every time you go down the ladder. So you go up, you unhook 4, and you go down. The next person comes up. They don't just have to unhook 2. They have to unhook all 6 again. So I like that because that's more realism. It's more realism.
Yeah.
And it does, it gives your ladder match more of a realistic feel. It's like, just because the last guy touched it for a longer period of time.
Our tag team and 6-man and 8-man tag matches, they're ridiculous because they're always saving people over and over and over and over. You can have a tag match go an hour, so that's why I do Tornado, or I have KO in there, or Falls Gun Anywhere. Some of the sliders, I know rollout frequency helps that because I don't want people leaving.
Yeah.
If I have and then I had certain matches where I did no exit last game. I'm not going to do it. Now this game don't let you do it. So it's a give or take with features.
What do you feel about, you had talked about this in your last CAW Summit, and I didn't want to bring it up again, but now I kind of want to I feel like you're going to have a different opinion on it. The universe mode promos. How do you feel about getting people's audio and kind of inputting people's audio over their character and stuff? I know you're the best at doing that.
I always want to encourage promos, but once again, going back to, I took a loss because a big L, because I have so many people. I have maybe 30 people that are great at promos, maybe 20 that are okay and maybe need some help, and maybe 30 that can't promo to save their life. So it's weird. And if you don't want to, you can. So my idea was having this promo tournament where you promo just to get in the tournament, and then the game still decides the winner. But if you lose, you can have another promo. Why should I be back into the main event? So here's the thing. We got 5 promos, but they are now attached to a match. There's either a match. It's not like a cutscene before that takes up a spot. It's literally, there's going to be a match right after it, or there's not. So far I've seen the call out promo where someone else comes out and they talk a little bit. The personal promo is probably the best one because you're basically just promoting yourself. He's in there for about 40 seconds maybe, and my idea is people will send me audio and I'll be able to play it while the character's in there talking.
Over the top. Yeah.
But here's the thing. Right now, I'm testing out universe mode. I'm not creating anything yet. I'm waiting a couple weeks. # wait to create. I'm waiting for patches.
Yeah.
We got 2 already. Because
in
the past, we've seen people, and I know some people are creating. That's fine. In the past, we've seen, all right, patch number 5 comes out, and it fixes the eyeball problem. And you've already created 5 CAWs, and now those CAWs are glitched. We've seen that. We've seen a patch comes out, and for some reason, you lose all your fucking data. I've saw someone lose all their data in 22 because of a patch. So it's like, you can only control that so much. And this is damage control I'm doing. So what I'm doing is testing universe mode. I don't use the rivalry system normally or anything. Right now, I'm testing it all. Everyone picks an avatar. Like, this person wants to be CM Punk. This person wants to be Cena. And we're just testing universe mode. I've seen 3 rival reactions that were shit. It was nothing. Like, I could sell more. It was just the end of the match. Someone went to shake hands and they don't. So I'm like, that's a cutscene that we don't even fucking need. It was nothing.
Well, we have that this year too. That shit only works like it only works like if like someone like Jakai and Kirk are friends. You know, we gotta sell that shit though.
Yeah.
Oh my God, his brother's not shaking his hand.
But you have to let the rivalry system play out to get to the better cutscenes. You can't just go right in and use one of the farther along cutscenes. They have to be going at the rivalry for a while for that
Press
to happen.
triangle. Go to
Yeah,
free
yeah.
mode.
So
Go
yeah,
to free
but
mode on it.
what I want is to be able to say promo slot 2, you know, attack slot 4. We don't have that yet, but I can still use some of these things. But just testing out universe mode every year, I test it out, I let it ride, and then after like 2 or 3 shows, I'm like, fuck this, I want to do my own match card. Because if you don't have everything set up right, and I was watching Toad's show once talking about making sure they're tag teams, making sure they're allies, or else shit gets wonky. Or if you go in and there's allies that you never even put in there. And it's like, why in the hell is this guy who's not even in my show part of this universe match? So it's like, you got to do all this extra shit. The actual promo where you're promoting yourself, I'm going to use those. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to use that for part of the promo system.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of new stuff. We've covered a lot of shit. We're right here about 2.5 hours. We're going to end it here.
Okay.
We're gonna end it with the way. Hold on, let's get back to where we were. The way we always like to do it.
I'm so pretty.
I know some people. We just lost Twitch. There. Okay, hold on.
Bring yourself back here.
Right. So
yeah, bring yourself back here for this money
part of
shot.
the wrestle sense. I mean, you know, you got people out there. Just a little pet peeve of mine. Some people, we all say it, but some people that you know, and you'll know who I'm talking about, say it a lot. Not gonna lie, to tell you the truth. If they say not gonna lie, tell you the truth all the time, what do you normally lie?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a little pet peeve. And I'm not talking about saying it. I say them too. But there's some people, you know, that say that all the time. Not gonna lie, tell you the truth. To be honest with you, tell you the truth, not gonna lie. That to me tells me that you normally lie. If you gotta tell me when you're not lying, just busting balls. The other one, at the end of the day. Someone who says at the end of the day this, and I'm like, no, it's only noon. What are you talking about at the end of the day? So I got some friends from the New York, Boston area. I think it's a Northeast thing. They're always at the end of the day this, and at the end of the day that, and at the end of the day this. So our final segment, when we give our final thoughts, you have to say at the end of the day, and then give your final thought for the podcast. So that was my Wrestle Sense final segment, and when I did my interviews to other content creators, you leave saying at the end of the day, here's your final segment, here's my final thought. So here's our final segment called At the End of the Day. All right, so we've come to our final segment called At the End of the Day. Shout out to my brother, Jeff, for the song there from his band Mobus. So we will give our final thoughts, and you start out your final thought with at the end of the day, and then you have your final thought. So first up, we brought him on first. Let's have him give his final thought. DC Twitch at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, everybody, you got to remember that we do this for fun. This is not meant to be taken seriously. This is meant to be used as a means of escape for us Fed owners. We need to, as Blaze said, we need to bring the unity back in community. If there's somebody who is new to this and they ask you for help, help them. Help them. Show them. It's like, show them that they are welcome in this community. That's it. That's all I got to say.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, that's just like Morgan just said here too. At the end of the day, remember, this is a game and escape, so have fun with it, win or lose. And I always say too, I have fun. I'm real wacky when I do my show. I crack jokes, make fun of myself, sing like a moron so you can laugh at me. And I always say, whether you're laughing with me or laughing at me, you're smiling. And that's my goal, is just to get people to smile. Now, at the same time, as Twitch said, it's just a game. Don't take it so seriously, but take it seriously enough to respect the person putting the work in to give you a show, not to shit on them or try to discredit what they're doing. You know, if you have problems or you have questions, DMs are always open. All right.
Fact.
So that's well said. So Solo, at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, there always needs to be a yin and yang, right? I believe if someone lives in always good, right? I don't think that you're going to have the shield that you need to survive in this world. The world's ugly, the world is patronizing, the world is bloody, and the world is clever enough in bad ways, and you need to be clever enough in a good way. So when you come to my chat at the end of the day, just know you might take a couple punches, you might take a couple bumps and bruises to your soul, literally, but we don't mean it to be bad. This is a safe space for you to learn how to deal with cyberbullying. This is a safe space for you to learn how to deal with bullying in your real life. Ask anybody who's dealt with trauma in real life. There's a synergy between what we do here. If you need help, ask for it. I promise you, someone will be in the chat to save you.
100%.
That's what the community does. On the
100%.
other end, there are some places if you want to get burnt, you can find some fire. So at the end of the day, we love you guys, and life is wrestling.
Hey, no matter how good you are at what you do or how great you think you are, there's going to be someone out there try to piss on your parade. There's going to be some the more followers you get, the more people you start to have as we get bigger, the more problems you may have. So be prepared for it and have a game plan. Mrs. Utaker did say it very nicely, and I was going to get to my little saying, which covers it too. At the end of the day, no one really knows what others are going through. Be good to each other. Be good to yourself. Tell them you love them. We're never guaranteed tomorrow. And that sums it up. We want to give everybody an escapism. And like I always say, and I'm going to read it right from my notes, as I always say, my little ending to the show. Keep in mind, people, the world may be crumbling around us, but life is about what we do with the moments we have left. Live every day like it's your last. You are exactly the way you're supposed to be. Nobody's perfect. Be yourself and treat others the way you want to be treated. Consider it. Be considerate. You never know what someone's going through or what they've gone through before in their life. We all have our demons. We all have our crosses to bear. So find a way to make your mark and leave your legacy. And no matter what's ailing you or what might be bringing you down, hopefully we can take it away for a little bit. LTD means leaning towards death, but it also means limited temporary disconnect. And this is true emotion, man. This is real life. And I'm not ashamed of it. This is because I care so much about the people behind these characters. This is a game, but these are real human beings that are putting themselves out there to have fun with what you do. To everybody in the chat, keep that in mind when you go play these games on these different channels. I try to stay positive, but I also have a heel bad side blaze too, and I'll let you know about yourself. Yeah. So you got to respect the person running the show. Have fun with it. These are my brothers. You guys are my family. I love y'all. I've known Twitch for 7 years. Feels like I've known him for 70. I've known Solo for a year or two. It feels like we went to high school together. I mean, it feels like we know each other. And here's the thing. I've had my differences with Twitch. We disagree on some things. I've had my differences with Solo. We've disagreed on things, but we have enough respect for each other to let that be okay to have differences. That's a beautiful. I always say it. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are, where you are, or how you are. And that covers all the bases. You're more than welcome in this community. Difference, beautiful. Let's embrace them and have fun with it. If we were all the same, it'd be boring. If we all ran our companies the same, that'd be boring.
It would be.
Facts.
Yeah, facts.
Golden rule for e-fetting. I said this before. If you don't like how someone runs that federation or can't hang or don't like it, find a different federation. There's one out there for everybody. Don't put the guy or girl who's running it through shit. Just go find somewhere else. I've had my differences. I've had people that cross me, and I've had to learn the hard way. Maybe this place isn't for you. Go find somewhere else.
Be careful. Be careful, because you might come across someone like myself that you put me through something. I might have to put you through something. You know what I mean?
I want
the community bites back.
I want everyone to have a place to play. So if it's not in LTD, maybe it's somewhere else. That's why if I'm not giving back, if I'm not sharing my gift of being silly. What am I doing here? You know, shout out to Hybrid popping in. Shout out to a couple other people I saw popping in here. If you're watching a replay, leave me a comment, drop a like. This isn't just for my channel. This is for everybody. You know, Jacob Hernandez, I appreciate you all. We got so many great human beings out there that play this game. Let's all work together. Let's all take this thing to the next level. Some of us have big dreams for that. Some of them have small dreams. Some of us have little kids and little ones we're taking care of, families, jobs, best friends, girlfriends, wives, husbands, and everything in between. We respect all that, but we're going to be wild and wacky. We're taking this eFed shit to another level, people.
Another level, Totes.
The Digital Wrestling Syndicate is no joke. We
the
are
limit.
all here to change the game. Whatever the game gives us, we can make it entertaining. I know I speak for these two sons of bitches because these are two of the most entertaining dudes I know. Make sure you subscribe to them. Make sure to go hang out at their shows. We'll be back with the Jeopardy Summit next week to talk more about the game. And guess what?
Everybody say bye to LTD. Bye.
You all have just gotten Blade.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Get blazed. Get blazed. Get blazed.